All right, man. It's about that time. 6 o'clock, Thursday night. It's your boy Adam. We're doing a live stream. We got no one in the house according to the counter. That's usually how it goes. So I'm just gonna, do a little chit chat while people decide whether they want to show up or not. I know we'll get up to about, we'll get up to about 20 people in the house, and then I'll start talking about truth, government, stuff like that. We'll be right back down to two viewers, lickety split. So, what is up? Got someone in the house. That's cool. Don't really got any. The chit chatty part here while we're waiting for people to join is I don't know. When I had a nice day yesterday. Was up blue sky. We got four people in the house. Went on a little walk yesterday. Wasn't expecting it. Did a little 7 mile hike yesterday. And the day before that was my first day at the gym that I joined. Surprisingly, I'm tired. I definitely, when I got home from my walk yesterday, it was a 7 miles on the dot, almost, well, 6.99, 98 or something like that. It was 7 miles. I really wasn't feeling it until maybe a half mile from the house. I was like, it'd be about time to be done with this. But when I got home, I was hungry, super hungry. And from the time it took to walk from my door to the next room, which is 20 feet, I was like, you know what? I'm actually tired. And I dropped right in front of my bed. Boom. Went to bed. Took like it was 4:30, so I took a 4-hour nap. 7 mile hike. I haven't done that since Jamestown days. My homeless days were the last time I walked 7 miles. And that was a regular occurrence back then. I mean, I was 12 miles a day at least hiking back then. But yesterday it was kind of fun being out at the park. This park at the end of my street that I've been meaning to try out and go check out in like more detail than more than one occasion since I've lived here, and I've just never done it. And so I'm glad I did that yesterday. It was a good experience. And the day before that, going to the gym. So I guess my fitness is underway. Been fitness food in my mouth. So I got to get the other side of fitness exercise into my calendar when I'm not ride my bicycle to that bakery as much as I used to. And to be honest, I rode 4,000 miles last year on my bike and I gained weight. Hey, what's up, Joseph? Yo. Rode my bicycle 4,000 miles and ended up fatter than I was going in. Yo-yo. It was a yo-yo up and down all year long, but I got to do something else. The bicycling did a great job on certain parts of my body, but it doesn't help. I don't know. I got to get out of that bakery. Those 1,000-calorie cookies are killing me. And I'm burned out. I'm tired. I just gravitate towards food right now that's easy and fast. And unfortunately, easy and fast means it's bad for you. So, it is what it is. And so I'm gonna start with the gym and getting the fitness up. I had a good day. This is a nice gym. It wasn't full of the new year, new me people. It was very chill, very nice. I mean, a couple things that I wish they had, but they didn't. But they have a hot tub and a sauna, and that was where it's at. Went there. I spent half an hour on a rowing machine to warm up because I was there for spinning class at 5:30. But I got there early and just did half an hour on a rowing machine to warm up to spin class. But I'm like, I'm not going to do a stair climber or an elliptical or anything leg oriented. I was like, rowing machine. That's the one. And so I did that for like half an hour. Then I hour-long spinning class, which is about an hour 15. When you got to go in, if you're serious about it, you got to get into the class before they start, because you got to like fit the bike to yourself. You got to make sure it's that I have my clipless shoes, so I had to make sure the pedals had the right tension and the seats at the right height, seat fore and aft positions good. The handlebars on the bikes they have don't go forward and back, so I was a little bit too forward in my position, but the bikes are really nice. The tension adjustment is actually pretty cool. So I mean, it was a nice experience overall. After spin class, I went and did some arm exercises on some machines because I've got some issues. I broke my elbow back in 2019, and I was in the middle of physical therapy for that when the COVID scam took place. And so the gym closed where I was going to physical therapy. They had a physical therapist in the gym. And and then I had a 6-month membership to this gym, and they were closed for like 2 to 3 months. And then when they reopened, they had all these goofy rules where you had to like make an appointment if you wanted to go to the gym for like an hour. You could do it twice a week, and then that you had to wear your stupid mask and all this other. And I'm like, no, we're done. I'm never coming back. And I said, what are you going to do about the people who had 6-month memberships who lost 3 months of their membership due to this? They're like, nothing. And I'm like, all right, then I'm done. Don't renew. I canceled the card. My membership will expire when it does. See you later, assholes. And so I haven't been to a gym since. But it was a good experience the other day. It was chill. After spin class, I did my arm workout. I'm going to try it already had an effect. My neck, all this pain I have in this part of my neck just melted yesterday as I was sitting, just because of what I did with my busted up arm. It just never healed correctly. Part of it was because I waited 8 weeks to go to see a doctor. I didn't know it was broken. But it just, something wasn't right. But even the doctor said he wouldn't have put me in a cast, and he said I didn't do anything wrong by not going to the doctor. But my options were go under the knife and possibly come out worse, or deal with it in physical therapy and try to rehab my arm back to 100% through that. And I was making good progress, but then the COVID bullshit came along, and that was pretty much the end of that. And so I've been kind of stuck with this arm that isn't quite right. And so hopefully we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get it going on there, get some weight loss. My goal for this year is not the 4,000 miles of adventure that I had last year. My goal is to lose 40 pounds and keep it off. I've already done it. I've proven to myself I can do it in 4 months. Granted, I was in federal prison. I didn't have much going on. The only things there were to do was work out, go to the library, go to church. And, they were forcibly starving us as punishment, because when one person does something in prison, they punish the whole prison for it. Or jail. That's how it works. It's the same. It's that military style punishment where the guards basically figure if they punish everybody for something that one person did, then the inmates will police themselves. The inmates will stop other inmates from doing things because that they don't want to be collectively punished, and that's why they do it. It's bullshit. But yeah, they were starving us for at least a month and a half out of the 4 months I was at Danbury, and it was bad. And so combined with the workouts and everything else I was doing, I mean, I was going to bed like in pain, like not having enough calories on a daily basis. It was like a fasting experience. It was rough. But I did lose 40 pounds in 4 months. I came out looking good. Everywhere. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact I was living with a psychotic nut job ex-girlfriend, I would have had a lot of fun. Every time I went to a store, every time I went anywhere in public, I was getting chased by girls left and right. And it was just because I was I was looking good. But I've got puffed up a little bit since then. And stress, bad eating. I got to get rid of this shit. So that's what I'm doing. I was walking around the park yesterday. You'll see I cleaned up a little bit today. Got the nose hair trimmed, eyebrows, got rid of the scruff on my face. I was looking rough yesterday, but I decided to do a video from the park, a little bit of a update Right now it's for members only, but I'll turn that off in probably tomorrow. I'll let you guys have time to watch the replay of the live stream and join in tonight, and then give y'all something to do tomorrow. But I think that's what I'm going to do from now on. Whenever I post a new like regular static video on the web on the channel, I'm just going to let the members watch for a day or two or a period of time with no ads. And when I look at the stats and I see, okay, looks like most of the members had a chance to look, I'll turn it on for everybody else. And hopefully the algorithm is supposed to treat it like a brand new video when I make it public, as if I just posted it. So, feel free to interact with that, leave comments, thumbs up, all that'll help the algorithm when I flip it live. If you guys, especially the members, I know you guys are members for a reason. So keep that in mind. And those of you who aren't members, there's like a little hype button that they put in the interface now. So like along with the thumbs up for the first day or first period of time after a video goes live, there's a hype button. And if you hit that, it's supposed to make the algorithm bump you up a notch from there. So we'll see. I do see that some of the thumbnails that I'm doing lately, like today's thumbnail, is actually I'm getting more impressions from the video, from the algorithm, due to the new style of thumbnails I'm using for the Thursday live streams. Just whenever I pick a topic, I try to create. I'm using AI. I'm lazy. I just try to create something that matches the theme. And today's theme is basically how copyright laws. You'd think that that's a pretty innocent thing, just trying to protect an artist. I'm a photographer. I don't want people stealing my photos and just randomly using them. But copyright law has gotten so ridiculous that it's literally going to create a dystopian future for all of us, where we're a bunch of slaves for corporations. And so that's the gist of the main topic of today's show. But right now, I'm just gonna kind of ease into that. So I'm gonna split the show in half today. The first half will be, what people like, the Jesus Calling book, and some observations and whatnot. But yesterday's video, I talked about, how God has pretty much told me over and over and over again over the last month or two that He's got three things that He wants for me. He's putting three things in my life. He's been extremely specific about all three of them, and they all seem impossible to me. Like when He tells me, and the synchronicities have been insane with all three of these things. And every time I ask, I'm like, "Are you sure?" Yes, I'm sure. To the point where He hit me he literally threw a lightning bolt at my house and almost blew. And I'm like, all right, I'm done asking for a sign because I don't want to die. I saw the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark when the Nazis opened up the Ark and Indiana Jones said, "Don't look at it." I know what happens. That's the next step. If I ask Him for another sign, that's what I'm getting. So I'm done. The lightning bolt on the house was enough. So, I mean, that was just like God showing up in the sky, like He did back in the Bible, to just yell at me about something, or I'm one step away from that. Like when the Bible says God came out of the sky and told Noah to build a boat, and Noah's like, "What's a boat?" And God's like, "Don't worry about it. I'm going to give you enough time." Gave him 150 years to build the ark. I'm working on a project that God told me to do straight up. I did not plan this. This was not on my bingo card for the month. It was this month I started it. And this was not even an idea. This was like the furthest thing from my mind. And I woke up one morning out of a weird dream. Boom. Do this. Just like Noah was told to build a boat when nobody even knew what a boat was or why you would need one. God told me to do a project. You'll all see it someday, but not now. But God is He's directing me on He is putting this thing together. I'm just sitting in the pilot seat, pushing the buttons and moving the stuff around with the mouse. But it's time sensitive and it can't be sped up. It's just going to take a certain amount of time. And there's this part of me, God's doing it. He told me to do it. He's guiding my steps. I'm just showing up. I did a little bit of work on it today and I was just like, yo, like blown away about how this is coming along without being planned. It's insane. That's how I know it's going to be good. God has a plan for this, and it's going to be finished when it's supposed to be finished. That's basically it. 150 years to build the ark. God held back the rain until Noah built the ark, and then he made sure all the animals showed up and got on the boat, and everything was tidy. And then the rains came. And so he's just telling me, have faith, brother. Have faith in what I'm doing. You gotta believe that these things have already been done, even though when I look at when he tells me what he's doing, and then I look at what I see, they don't match. And but I also have this I've pretty much had to embrace this warrior mentality after I got out of prison. Well, while I was in prison, I had to survive, but I came out swinging. Like, I will not be defeated after all of this, after having my life completely thrown away. And then on top of that, winding up living out in the streets as a homeless guy. I'm still not going to be defeated. I'm fighting. I will fight tooth and nail with every last breath I have until the day I die to put things back and to build things better. But I do see that there are some areas of my life that I need to work on aside from that warrior mentality. Like, I need to work on, like, I talk about the leveling up, and I always use like the magician, warlock, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I need to work on the magician side of my personality, like the belief that I need to realize that throughout my life, 30 years, ever since I figured out Jesus was real, I've materialized things into my life over and over and over again for decades, just by believing it, by having such a firm belief that I just know it's real and it becomes real. God talks about this in the Bible. I'm not saying that I did it every time. A lot of it's just a miracle from above. But the belief, God says, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you can take a mountain and toss it into the sea. That's what Jesus said. But this works both positive and negative. I've manifested jobs. I manifested the sale of a car. I literally woke up one morning and told my ex that I'm like, I think I'm going to put my car up for sale today. And 2 hours later, someone knocked on my door asking if I wanted to sell him the car. What? I didn't have to do anything other than open the door, go empty out the car, and hurry up because he was already back at my house with the cash. Like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm sending a text with a table covered in money. Like, look what I found today. I sold the car. It's done. Paperwork, notary, it's done. But I also manifested the FBI driving a tank into my living room exactly as I had envisioned it when 2020 hit, and they were basically declaring martial law, stay home, you peasants, put on your mask and stay home and cower in fear. I was like, fuck that. We're going on a road trip. Took my son. We went to like 20 something states on just one road trip alone. Cause I'm like, I was shopping around for, where am I going to move when the shit goes down? I was in a good spot at the time, but I was looking for a better spot. But we went exploring. I did a lot of photography. It was a multi-purpose trip. We weren't going to live in fear. And as I explored the country, If you're in a red county, you're all good. If you're in a blue county, just drive on through. That's look at the election map. If it's blue, drive on through. That's the rule of thumb when it came to that. Stay out of the blue ones. Go visit, get the fuck out. At the end of the day, you don't want to spend the night there. But so I need to work on my beliefs, like just believing things, not carrying around a lot of doubt. Holds me back because I'm conditioned to believe that I don't deserve good things or that good things won't happen, even though they do all the time. But I beg you, go apply for 600 jobs and get turned down for all 600. That'll humble you. That'll give you some beliefs to like, that'll reinstill the belief that you are a worthless piece of shit who doesn't deserve to make a living. So I got to get past that stuff because it's not true. It's maybe I need to apply to 650 jobs and I've given up on that. I'm just riding. I'm doing what I'm getting paid. I've got money coming in, but, and then there's like a lot of damage that I've done throughout my life, aside from the whole, prison thing of just holding on to anger and hatred for a long time. There are people that I fucking hate. I don't know if I'm ever going to get over it. But like it comes out of me. Sometimes I keep it under wraps, but like I get on X and it's just all politics and just dumb ass politics. And like the Kool-Aid cult, whether you wear a MAGA hat or a COVID mask on your face, you're in a cult. And it just drives me crazy because I'm of the, I've taken a look at what Donald Trump did in his first year, which is nothing. The only thing that dude has done since he's been president is bitch about shit on Twitter, unless it involves sending money and resources to other countries, arresting a 2-bit dictator from Venezuela and dragging him back here to face trial. But he isn't doing anything here at home except bitch on social media. That's all that motherfucker does. And so I'm like, the MAGA people on X are driving me nuts because they just kiss his ass. No matter what he does, he's great. It's like, he hasn't fucking done anything. There's a bunch of people on X that I follow who are calling him out just like I am. And I love these. There's one guy. Oh my God, I'd love to have him on the show. There's one guy in particular. Can't even remember his name. I could look it up in front of you all, but anyway, so there's that. And then there's just like this whole like you will feel, there will be days that you feel completely worthless when you go through something like I've been through. And all of it. And it's not constant. It's like an ebb and flow of these kind of things. Like there's days where I feel solid and there's days I don't. Goes with the territory. But I just need to wake up to the fact that I'm wise. I know some things. I've lived a very full life, and I can assure you that I've had such a wide range of experiences in my life, from the good to the bad. And some of the bad have been horrible. Some of the good have been outrageously good. Way above and beyond what most people ever experience. And, I've never been at the bottom. There's people who've been through a lot worse things than me. In fact, I just heard a story today about a guy who was in Vietnam and he got captured and he was a POW for 9 years. He basically spent 9 years strapped to a board and when he had to take a pee, he had to pee on himself. He was like upside down on the board. So when he peed on himself, he had to pee all over his body. And like, I don't know, it was fucked up. And then on top of that, when he came back to the United States, he was back home for a year or two and the IRS came after him. And that was what pissed me off. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, who in their right mind would sign up on the dotted line to defend this piece of shit country and go risk your life so that you can get tied to a fucking board and tortured for 9 years where you got to pee all over yourself and then you come home all fucked up in the head, and then have the IRS coming after you to take everything that your fucking home and everything else. Fuck this place. I fucking hate the United States. I would never risk my life for this place. And unless I would sign up under certain circumstances, and y'all know what I would sign up for. We're just going to leave it at that. But but like that kind of stuff, it digs up. You see how I get when I start thinking about this piece of shit country and everything going wrong with it. I get mad. And I'm trying to figure out, how do I engage with this X platform and this kind of stuff and not let it drive me insane. Because, we talk about Jedi Master Yoda, and I always have this slide handy. We'll just, go right back here. Yoda, fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. And hate leads to suffering. And that's the story of what happened to me. But when I'm pissed off about something, it's like, what is the fear? I have to keep saying to myself, what are you afraid of? Like, why are you so angry? And the fear is, we're watching our country completely disintegrate before our eyes, and we're losing, we're going to lose all of our freedom, and we're going to live in a dystopian hellhole. And, that should concern most people, but most people don't give a shit about that. They're concerned about, the Super Bowl is, I don't know, when is the Super Bowl? I'm supposed to go hang out somewhere for the Super Bowl. I'm like, I don't even give a shit. I haven't even watched a sports ball game in 2 years. Like, I don't care about sports ball, but I'll go hang out with some friends. If there's an excuse to do so, that's fine with me. But even if I did watch sports ball, I could give a crap about the teams that made it into the Super Bowl. But that's what America cares about: beer and football. If you notice, during the COVID scam, they took away all the sports, but they didn't take away the alcohol. In fact, the liquor store was the one store that was allowed to stay open when they were telling everybody else to close. But no, not the liquor store. They get a pass, because they know if they took away Americans' beer and the football, there would have been riots. There would have been a revolution. This government would have been overthrown in 24 hours. The whole Washington, D.C. would have been burned to the ground, and it wouldn't even exist anymore if they took away the beer and the football. So they decided, well, we'll take away the football, but we can't take away the beer. As long as they got one of them, we'll slowly bring the other one back. But if we take away both, that's too much for these peasants. They're going to lose it. They're going to completely lose it, because that's all they care about. It's beer and football. And so, I was a little kid. We went to school. We learned in our history books what happens when a country goes full totalitarian regime, like the Soviet Union under Stalin, like Germany under Hitler, like China under Chairman Mao, all of that shit. And we're watching it happen right here, step by step by step, exactly the way it always happens. And anybody who's paid attention to history can see it for what it is. So of course you're going to be concerned. You're going to have fear, and that fear it quickly leads to anger for me. I'm just pissed off when I see this stuff happening. And I'm pissed off that people just don't care. But, I also understand that, people have been conditioned to just not even pay attention to it and just not care. As long as they're getting their beer and their football, they're good. And so I don't even know. I think that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm just going to jump into, I'm going to pivot back to the book that we like, the Jesus Calling by Sarah Young, because the one thing I can do is to just take a break. I want to build up an audience on X, because it's the one platform aside from YouTube where you can still grow an audience. All the other platforms are just done. They're finished. Like there's no more Facebook, there's no more Instagram, there's no more like TikTok. If I want to just put a bunch of retarded ass, dumbass TikTok videos up that are 20 seconds long, me kicking someone in the balls or whatever the hell people are into this week, then yeah, I could grow a TikTok crowd. But you want actual substance, forget it. Like you can't share photographs on Instagram anymore. You can't hang out with your family and friends on Facebook anymore because every TikTok came out and then every other platform decided we're TikTok now. So Instagram is just a shitty copy of TikTok. Facebook turned into TikTok. YouTube is turning into TikTok with the short videos. Every single platform's trying to be a copy of TikTok. Well, then where do you go if you're not into dumbass, retarded, short attention span videos? Like there's nowhere to go. Like they're just turning the whole, they're turning the whole, all of social media is going full retard. And if you watch the movie Tropic Thunder, you know you're not supposed to go full retard. So I don't even know. I'm just holding on to the bar of the roller coaster and seeing where this thing goes. But today, a lot of the times now, I've read the book twice this week. I've been busy, so I forget. And so I read it today. I had some time and I decided to share it with you guys. And it's still all of the themes of this book, this daily devotional, still line up with what I'm going through on a daily basis over the last month or 2 months, I'll say, December and January. And Jesus Calling says for January 29th today, he's saying, keep your focus on me. I have gifted you with amazing the ability to choose the focal point of your mind. Only the crown of my creation has such remarkable capability. This is a sign of being made in my image. Let the goal of this day be to bring every thought captive to me. Whenever your mind wanders, lasso those thoughts and bring them into my presence. In my radiant light, anxious thoughts shrink and shrivel away. Judgmental thoughts are unmasked as you bask in my unconditional love. Confused ideas are untangled while you reset in the simplicity of my peace. I will guard you and keep you in constant peace as you focus your mind on me. And so I really tried to highlight the best parts instead of highlighting 3/4 or 75% or 80-90% of this. And really what the parts that stood out to today's entry were this: give up the illusion that you deserve a problem-free life. I don't think I deserve that. I just want that. I would like to have a day where I don't got no problems. I got 99 problems. At least a bitch ain't one. But you never know what's gonna happen. But and it also says, in fact, my light shines most brightly through believers who trust me in the dark. I mean, that lines up with exactly what I'm feeling. God's telling me all these things that he wants to do or he's planning on doing, and I don't see it like he sees it. And I keep asking him, I'm like, oop, hold on. There we go. I keep asking him, like, are you for real, dude? And he keeps saying, yeah, dude, here's a lightning bolt in your face. How's that? How's that for a sign? And, but once again, that kind of trust in God is supernatural, a production of my indwelling spirit. When things all seem wrong, trust me anyway. So it's right there. I mean, he's telling me today, he is talking back to me today based on the conversation I had with him yesterday and that I shared on the YouTube video that I posted yesterday. And I thought that was pretty crazy. Let's see what he had to say. Some things. this is the 26th. I have no wonder everything was all jacked. This is from the other day. I thought this was today's. No, this was from the other day. Which was the 26th was Monday. So yeah, my bad. I said that was today's, but you can see the date right on the slide. It's the 26th. I have the notes. I have them backwards in my notes from what I had in the slide deck. So, oops, we're live. That's what happens. Today's entry, though, it's not much different. It's pretty much the same thing. So it really doesn't matter. It says, keep your focus on me. I have gifted you with amazing freedom, including the ability to choose the focal point of your mind. Only the crown of my... What the hell is... I butchered this. Okay, so what did I do? Okay. So I read, yeah, I'm a mess right now. Okay, yeah, that's what we're doing. I read you today's while I was showing you the other day's slide. Yeah, we're live. That's what happens. That's what happens. All right, so did I read the whole thing? Yeah, I read that one. Yeah, and then we talked about that. When things seem wrong, trust me anyway. Give up the illusion that you deserve a problem-free life. So there we go. Yeah, that was the keep your focus on me. I've gifted you with amazing freedom, including the ability to choose what's on your mind and all that. But here's the part that stood out on this one. It'll all make sense. I have gifted you with amazing freedom, including the ability to choose the focal point of your mind. Let the goal of this day be to bring every thought captive to me. So I just need to stop worrying about stuff or whatever. Stop questioning everything and just accept it. What he's telling me is real. And whenever I doubt, I just keep asking him to help me with that. It says, in my radiant light, anxious thoughts shrink and shrivel away. And that's true. That's definitely true. Like it's not like I have all these anxious thoughts. It's just doubt. Like the anxious thoughts were, I go through periods of anxiety, but it's more like when I'm having serious problems in my life. Right now, I'm not facing any super hardcore problems. So it's more like I'm dealing with just doubt about things and feeling like, for example, I went on a job interview last week. It went well. And I was told we'll be scheduling a second interview. You'll hear back from us by the end of the week. Well, the end of the week came and I never heard back. What's the first thought that goes through my head when that happens? You all know. You done been ghosted. I've been ghosted. They must have typed my name into a Google search and found out all that shit. And because they don't, like, this interview was like an hour. It was over a Zoom. It was over a Google Hangouts, Google Meetup, whatever they call their version of Zoom. It went well. I mean, it went really well. And because I can tell the difference between a good and a bad interview. And so I didn't hear back for a week. So I followed up. Sent a follow-up email on Tuesday. Never heard back. So I sent a quick, one sentence follow-up to the guy on his LinkedIn account directly, a direct message, because that's how he reached out to me in the first place. But that's it. That's it. Two replies and I'm done. But as soon as Friday came and went and I never heard back, I immediately assume ghosted. And that I'm not, it's already in my head. Even though, yes, I could definitely create evidence to justify my belief, but I can also listen back to past experiences in my life where, I assume something like that and turns out I'm completely wrong. Like there's a justifiable reason for whatever, I thought, let's just say I thought I got ghosted after a job interview and 3 weeks goes by and all of a sudden they want to call me back for a second interview and they're apologizing because, oh, we got backed up with projects and blah, 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 and this and that. It's happened before. So but I'm also accustomed to filling out 600 or applying to 600 jobs and getting hired over and over and over again just to be kicked to the curb as soon as they find out what happened. So I've got like that's stuck in my head and I don't know how to shut that off. I'm going to doubt. I was already doubting it when the job interview, at the end of the job interview, I remember saying to myself, yeah, that job interview went great until he types my name into Google, then I'm smoked. Like I already expect it. I don't know if I'll ever get past that or be able to like trust that something will work out in that department. And maybe it's just not supposed to. Maybe God, I've also said many times, maybe God just doesn't want me going back to work for somebody. Maybe he wants me to figure out, maybe he wants me to stay independent. But I need money. Like I need to be able to pay my bills. I need to be able to get my life together. So it's just, but he keeps telling me one of the three things that he's put on my plate. He's given me very specific things about how my career and my finances and all that kind of stuff are just going to take off like a rocket ship soon. And I need to be ready for it. So if it's not that opportunity, it could be another. I mean, I had another recruiter reach out to me today and I went back and forth via email, but I was very curt and snotty and just left one-line responses because the guy was kind of a dick. And I was like, I ain't got time for this. So I'm like, I'm not wasting more than 10, 15 seconds on replying to you until you want to be courteous to me. So, I mean, I'm already like written that one off. And I'm just, I don't know how this is going to shake out. And that one, in terms of the one I'm talking about today, they lowballed the money. And I already know that this recruiter reached out to me with a really low hourly rate. And I'm like, so they're going to be pocketing 75% of the money that they're charging the back end. And they're screwing over the contractor. And I'm like, whoever the contractor happens to be. But I was also like, you know what? I'm just going to roll with it because it would be something to start with. Be better than making $10 an hour working in a bakery. So I just replied. I didn't fight back. I didn't push. I just wanted to see what would happen. But I already know it won't go anywhere because of the type of recruiter that it is. Ding, 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 ding. You know what I'm saying? So, ding, 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 ding. So, yeah, those Indian recruiters are fucking trash. So anyway, there's that. I have this like issue with that. But like I keep saying, God keeps telling me to stop with this stuff. And so this was the first Bible verse that when I was in the joint, I decided to try and memorize Bible verses because, I knew a lot of Bible thumpers who could just quote scripture at me all day long. Tell me what the book and the chapter and all that was, and they could quote the Bible word for word all day long. And I was like, may as well. I mean, what else do I got to do? I'm in prison. It's not much to do. So I would write down on sheets of paper Bible verses that meant something to me, and I would try to remember them. Just the word for word from whatever version of the Bible I'm reading it from, along with the location, chapter, verse, numbers, all that stuff. And so this one from Matthew chapter 6, verse 26 in the New King James Version, look at the birds of the air, for they neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they? And it's simple. And it didn't take me long to memorize it. But the first time that I could quote that word for word exactly as it's written, not even making like one word out of place, and quoting the book and the verse and chapter number the first time I did that without having to look at my cheat sheet, all these birds showed up out of nowhere. Like, I'm talking like 50 to 100 seagulls just came swooping into the yard out of nowhere. There were no birds in the sky. I was walking around a track that's a quarter-mile long, and I was on the back end of the track, and I said this, and all of these birds showed up. And there was a guy sitting at one of the picnic tables out in the yard, throwing bread out into the yard, feeding the birds. Yet your heavenly Father still feeds them. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. Because the timing, it was just as memorable timing wise as the lightning bolt. The lightning bolt thing. I went to bed at like 10 o'clock at night with some heavy stuff that I was bringing to God. And I was asking him something specific. And I said, I don't like to keep asking you for signs, but none of this makes any sense to me. It just doesn't seem like what you're telling me and what I see don't match. So am I being deceived? Am I reading the signs wrong? Like, what's up, God? I wake up for no apparent reason at somewhere around midnight, and it starts raining outside. And when I go to bed at night, I'm playing YouTube videos. I'll have a playlist. I just bookmark videos I want to listen to or watch, and I just put them on a playlist. And then later on, when I'm winding down, I'll watch them. When I'm working, I'll watch them off to the side or in the background or whatever. I'll listen to them. If it's like just a face with a microphone like I'm doing right now, I can listen and not have to watch. And so it was a playlist. It was just a random video in a playlist. I went to bed at 10. So it's around midnight. So 2 hours into a playlist full of videos, there's a video playing. And it's a preacher, and he's on a very specific topic that directly corresponded with what I had asked when I went to bed. And he said this sentence. And it also was raining outside. And he said this sentence that was so specific. It was like a direct answer to my question, word for word. And he hit this one word in the sentence. And as soon as the pastor said that word, the whole house just lit up, bright as the sun, with an instantaneous thunderclap. It wasn't like no delay. Because when you see lightning and thunder, every 4 seconds of a delay between the flash of lightning and the thunderclap means that it's a mile away. So 1 second delay, it's a quarter mile. No, this was boom, right on it. Flash and thunder at the exact same time. And it shook. I thought I could have broke the windows of my house. It was that loud, and that like the ground was shaking. The house was shaking. I was shook. I jumped out of bed. It freaked me out. I jumped out of bed. I'm running around. I'm looking. I'm like noticing that the power's still on, but I thought we got hit. I thought I got hit. And I'm going outside. I'm looking around. I actually took the keys to my car and made sure my car would start. Like I was like, what was that? Looking for a tree on fire. Like it was crazy. And so, God, and I went back. I copied and pasted the transcript of the video and put it in my notes so that I will remember word for word what the guy said when the lightning bolt hit and all that. Like I wanted to make sure that I remember word for word what that was. And God just keeps giving me signs to trust him on all of these things. And the signs are like that. And so this sign here, when you're in federal prison, you're going to be worried a lot. I was worried about everything. Worried about coming home, worried about not getting stabbed, worried about, how am I going to get to eat? Like I was worried about all kinds of things. And so I was focused on Bible verses to calm my anxiety down. And this is the one that hit me the hardest. And look at the birds of the air, for they neither sow nor reap, right? So if we go to my photography website, and you see my logo, I mean, it's kind of hard to see here, but you see, do I have a bigger logo somewhere? I think I do. Hold on, I got the free wallpaper. Yeah, that's got a bigger version of it. So you see the logo there, Lit Good Photography. You see the little bird. So when I was designing my photography logo, I was like, I want something to do with Jesus as the logo. And I started asking AI for different like ideas. And of course, AI is like, here's a cross, here's the Jesus fish, and here's all the symbols that you normally see. And I'm like, okay, AI, how about some symbology that's not directly related to Jesus, like nothing that's cliche, like the cross and the fish thing, and like I don't know what are the other ones that the crown of thorns, all the ones that they always use. And it came back with this bird, and I'm like, yo, that's perfect. That's perfect because that Bible verse for me says that's like the Bible verse. That's like my favorite Bible verse. There's a reason why that Bible verse is my favorite. There was a friend of mine before I went to the federal prison when I was in the jail. I had a really good friend there that kept repeating this verse to me over and over and over again for over a year. Like this verse constantly, he always told me, he's like, whenever you're feeling like shit, remember God takes care of the birds. He'll take care of you. And so that when it all clicked together, and as a designer, I love when things have multiple meanings. And so the bird is perfect for my little logo. It fits right in the space of the typography there. I made it all, I made it proportionally good and everything. Can I even open that in a new tab to show it? There you go. You can see it bigger. And so that's why there's a bird in my logo, and it means something to me. But all of these things have multiple layers. Lit good. A photograph is a good photograph when it's lit good. Lit good is an easy domain name to remember. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 7 letters. .com, 2 syllables. You can't beat that. Litgood.com. You can't fuck with that. That's a banging.com name when most .com domain names are snatched up and gone these days. So to get something like that, that's a banger of a domain name. And plus, I used to like to, and after probation is done, I'll be lit good because I'm telling you, the day I'm off probation, I'm going to the Indian reservation. I'm getting a bag of some fucking ganja, and I'm going to be lit good at the end of the day. And there's a bunch of other layers to this, and it all works. And so, let me go back to this. So that's why that Bible verse is at the top of my deck now. It's probably always going to be the first slide of my deck. But God, I've just picked out a bunch of verses today to share. So if we look at the book of Hebrews 11, chapter 11, verse 6, once again, but without this one hit me today. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he who comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. And so, that kind of that speaks to me in two different ways of he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. So I'm sitting here, I'm trying to figure out, like, what do you want from me? Like, you keep giving me all these signs. I want to believe it. And it's like he's trying to test my faith right now by trying to get me to believe something that may or may not, that there's no evidence to prove what he's telling me is true. Just like Noah didn't have any evidence that he needed to build a giant boat to hold all the animals in the world. Like, according to a lot of people, it had never rained in the history of the world up to that point. Why do we need a boat? You're going to find out. Just trust me. And so, but the other way that this speaks to me is a lot of trolls get on this channel and they start saying crap like, what's the word? Oh, you're an idiot because you believe in the invisible sky fairy and blah blah blah. Oh, that was just a coincidence, or that just, that's all explainable by science and blah 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 blah. And it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, obviously, if you don't believe in God, then you shouldn't be surprised if God doesn't answer your prayers. But I can also say, because I've shared this story numerous times on the channel, when I found God, I didn't believe in him. And the first time I ever like really prayed to God, I flat out said, I don't believe in you. But if you're real, could you at least tell me you're real? Could you show me that you're real? And the way that I did it was given to me by a friend. A friend of mine told me what he did, and I just copied him. I said, God, I don't know. I don't believe you. I don't believe you're real. Um, I said, but I'm willing to entertain the idea that maybe you are. And that was where it began. Like, I finally got to the point where I was sick of arguing with all my Christian friends about how they're a bunch of idiots. I mean, these were good friends of mine. So I could say, you're a fucking retard for believing in this. And we would all be cool and drink a beer at the end of the day. Like, we were, we can be good friends, can be brutal to each other. And we can joke around and clown around and have a good time with it. But I would say pretty harsh things to my friends who believed in God. But then I just started to like, they were telling me, they're like, yeah, we could see you coming around, like, because you started asking the questions. You start, a lot of people who find God find him because they try so hard to prove it wrong that they find out it's right. There's a lot of stories like that from people who find their way, but they found their way to God because they were trying to prove he's not real, and they found out he is in the process. And so for me, it was kind of like that. I reached out. I said, look, I don't believe in you. I don't think you're real. I don't know, you know, but I said, if you've got a plan, if you've got something you want me to do, like, you need, like, show me that you're real. I asked him to, and I said, like, I don't believe in you. So, I mean, please, you're going to have to do something to change my mind. And you're going to have to make it so obvious that I'd be a complete idiot. That was what my friend told me to say. You're going to have to make it so obvious to me that I would be a complete idiot after the fact to not believe in you once you've done whatever you're going to do. And I'm telling you, like 3 days later, I was like, whoa, okay. And like immediately, as soon as I had that conversation in the car, something came over me, man. It was like, I'm feeling it right now, actually. Like, I'm feeling the wave of everything's going to be okay just pour through me like this. I can't explain what that is. God's love coming through you when you let it in. But it was the day I stopped being stubborn and finally just opened up my mind to just the possibility. It's not faith. I don't know. Maybe that is faith. I don't know. But I finally just relaxed and just said, maybe this is real. That's all it took. And he told me loud and clear that he was, and he did it in such a way that if I didn't believe all of the things that happened over the next few days were just random circumstance and circumstantial and science and blah blah blah, then I would have been a complete fucking idiot, because he made it so obvious. And when I told everybody about it, they're like, yeah, dude, that's what he does. And so there we are. So, he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. I wasn't very diligent, I don't feel, but I sought him. That was the first time I could say I was open to it. There's a lot of people I know who don't want to believe in Jesus and God because of horrible things that Christians have done over the years. And I know I'm thinking of someone very specific right now who constantly tells me that Christians are fucking dirtbags and Christians do this and Christians. Yeah, look at what Jesus came, and the Jews were doing the same thing. The leaders of the Jews were doing the same shit when Jesus walked the earth, and look what they did to him. Like, you can't blame the people The people have their own free will to do what they're going to do. You can't. And if God took away our free will and forced them to love him, then it wouldn't be real. That would literally, like, if God took away your free will to love God and forced you to love him, would that be any different than some whack job taking a couple of girls and chaining them up in the basement of their house and forcing the girls to love him because he comes down there with food and he gives them all of his love while he's telling her to put the fucking lotion in the basket? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what God would be doing to you if he took away your free will and forced you to love him. He'd be like, put the fucking lotion in the basket. That's what it would be. It wouldn't be any different. So you have your own free will. You got to make your choice what you're going to do. I made my choice, especially after he came in and said he was real. Yeah, God doesn't want robots. So now I've been another verse is Hebrews 11 verse 1. Well-known verse when it comes to faith. And this is something that God's like, this is the phase of my comeback story or whatever that I'm in right now. I'm at like a cusp, a precipice, some sort of leveling up event. I keep talking about this over and over for the last several weeks. And it's exactly this. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So all three of the things that God's telling me he's got in the works are all incredibly awesome things that I can't wait to have. Like, I want this. I want all three of them bad. Like, I mean, they weren't on my bingo card 3 months ago. None of them were. Maybe in the back of my mind, maybe in a, maybe like a pie in the sky kind of a thing. But when he hit me with these lightning bolts, I'm like, yes, I definitely want that. Oh, yes, I definitely want that one too. Oh, that one would be great. That would be really fucking awesome. Like, boom, boom, boom. Yes. How could you say no to like some of the best things in life, right? But he keeps telling me these things are coming, but you need to just chill out and trust my timing and just believe me. And because, like I said, the evidence of things not seen, I mean, I don't see the evidence. In fact, in some cases, I see the evidence of the opposite. Like and we'll get into that because there's more here. Second Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7 talks about, for we walk by faith, not by sight. Once again, I don't see it, but he keeps telling me. And when I start to doubt, he tells me again, and I'm like, okay, walk by faith, not by sight. Just believe that it's done, even though I don't see it. Okay, that's great. It's great on paper. It's hard to do, especially when you've been conditioned through lots of different means to expect the worst. That's a problem that I've had for a very long time. I always expect the worst. And he's trying to break me of that habit. And so I hope he does. I hope he wins, because I don't want to live like that, because I know it holds me back. But let him ask in faith with no doubting, for he who doubts is like a wave of the sea driven and tossed by the wind. And that's from the book of James, chapter 1, verse 6. So I just shared a whole chapter of my friend's book that he wrote in last week's live stream or the week before that. I can't remember which, where we were talking about the waves on the surface of the ocean don't have any effect on the ocean beneath. That first 100 or so feet of an ocean that's 3 miles deep has no effect on what's going on at the bottom of the ocean. Is not affected at all by what's happening at the top. But for he who doubts is like a wave of the sea driven and tossed by the wind. It's just like when Jesus when they were crossing the Sea of Galilee, and they came up on a storm, and there were giant waves that were threatening to topple the boat and swamp the boat, and Jesus is taking a nap. He didn't care. And they all start freaking out, and they're like, Jesus, Jesus, come on, save us, save us. And Jesus gets up and says, come on, man, I'm trying to take a nap. And he's like, can't you just let a brother catch some Z's? He gets up, he's like, all right, fine. He said the Bible says instantly the sea stopped, the waves calm, everything went back to being glass smooth and calm. And I wonder, I was like, Jesus, like, all right, you gonna let me catch some Z's now, or are you gonna keep me from getting my rest? He just wanted to point out like how easy it is. Like Jesus, God controls. If you're doubt, you're just that boat being tossed around in the sea. You don't have any control over it, and you're just going to go wherever the wind blows and the water throws you. But if you believe in God, you know that you're going to be fine. If we go to 1 John chapter 5, verse 14 and 15. Now this is the confidence that we have in him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us, whatever we ask, we know that we have the petitions that we have asked of him. So he's just, once again, he's just scattering this around the Bible that, I know that there are things that you can ask for that he probably won't give you. Things that are bad for you, things that you don't need. Like I could say, I would like a Lamborghini Gallardo. Can you do that next week? But I already doubt that he would do it. So why would he do it? I mean, I don't even know how I would turn my faith into where, and why would I want that? I mean, it's not actually something I want, but I'm just saying, like, if I ask God for a new Mercedes, it's probably not going to be parked out front next week. I don't know how it, but like when I'm asking for something that's like pure and that's like actually a good thing, that's biblically considered to be a good thing to have in your life, et cetera, and I'm asking for his will to be done on top of that, then you can expect him to do these things for you because he's done it for me. When I need money, he drops it in my lap. When I need something, I needed a car, and I was really getting to the point where I don't think I could have continued doing that, torturing to myself, riding my bicycle to and from the bakery like I was doing. Yeah, I mean, it got to the point where my feet were having serious pain issues to where I couldn't ride my bike 10 feet or 10 miles without my feet burning and like being on fire and not being able to walk when I get home and barely able to put pressure on the pedals. It got really bad, and I'm still feeling it. Like I went to spin class last night and I was feeling it a little bit. So I don't know if I've done permanent damage to my feet or if I just need a new pair of cycling shoes that fit different. I'll try different things, but I was feeling it at spin class last night, but but it's gone down quite a bit since. But I was at the point where I didn't know, just going to look at cars, my feet were on fire. They hurt so bad. And he just like dropped the means for me to get a car right at the time I needed it. Like the timing was very, very wild there. If I go back to, I got more verses for y'all. I got a bunch on this subject because this is the subject I wanted to dig into today because I needed to hear it. Therefore, I say to you, whatever things you ask when you pray, believe that you receive them and you will have them. That's from the book of Mark, chapter 11, verse 24. And that's just that, a lot of the new age mumbo jumbo. A lot of these people like that show, The Secret, that movie, people that don't believe in God believe in this, that if you can manifest, I was talking about manifesting things into your life because you believe it's so, and you can do that. You can definitely do that. My best friend, the buddy who's writing the book, he has a saying that he likes to say, what you think about, you bring about. And it's basically the same thing. And I was saying earlier, I have manifested positive things into my life over and over and over again, especially when I actually needed them. Jobs, money, sold a car right at the time I needed to sell it. Didn't do anything except put it out there in the universe. Put it out in the universe on YouTube that I'm starting a business doing digital marketing. I did absolutely no digital marketing of my own, and I've got clients. Like, they fell into my lap. Someone's dog came up and jumped on me in a park, and it turned into a client that I'm working with now. Like, that's God. That's how God does it. you know? Um, so many examples. So many examples. But yeah, JS, it's Mark 11, chapter 11, verse 24. And along with that, Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6 say, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. So it's, once again, he's trust the Lord and not your own understanding. So it falls right into what I'm talking about today. God's telling me one thing, I see another thing. They don't match. I'm supposed to trust God and not my own understanding and just let it ride and see where this goes. Okay. Trying. I know Yoda says, Jedi Master Yoda says, do or do not. There is no try. Well, I'm trying. So that's where I'm at. I guess I'm doing not. Sometimes I do, but I fail sometimes. We've got the book of Romans, chapter 4, 18 to 21. This one's a little bit long. It covers multiple slides. It doesn't all fit. This is the best example. I talked about this in yesterday's YouTube video, so you channel members would have heard this. I had to look this up. I didn't know. I knew the story a little bit. The rest of you, if you're watching the video after it goes to public, that's how I started out yesterday's video with this story, but I actually had to go into the Bible and pull out a reference to the story. And the best reference to the story is actually in the book of Romans, the letters from Paul to the growing Christian churches around the world. He talks about, against all hope, Abraham in hope believed and so became the father of many nations, just as it had been said to him, so shall your offspring be. God told Abraham, your descendants will be the father of many nations. But he didn't have any kids, and he didn't know how they were going to have kids. Without weakening in his faith, he faced the fact that his body was as good as dead, since he was about 100 years old, and that his wife Sarah's womb was also dead. She was 90. I thought she was like 160, whatever. I mean, what's the difference between 90 and 160? I had to ask Grok yesterday who these people, like, I told Grok the story in my own words, and Grok told me where it was. Sarah, she was 90 years old, being told she's going to have a kid. Now, it says without weakening in his faith. I beg to differ, because Sarah was like, hey, Abraham, why don't you go bang the maidservant? Because she's young. You could probably knock her up. And maybe that's what God meant. And, if I had a 90-year-old wife and she was like, hey, why don't you go bang the maidservant over there, that hot little young maidservant over there, see if you can get her pregnant, I'll be like, hey, you don't got to tell me twice. I'm on it. Let's go get it done. You can count on me. I'll get the job done. Let's do this. So he went and did that. He went, banged the slave girl, got her pregnant. She had a baby. And then God was like, no, dude, that's not what I was talking about. That's not what I was talking about, dude. Now you got two babies with two different baby mamas, and you got all these problems. You got 99. You had 99 problems, but now a bitch is one. So now you got 100 problems. You didn't need that. You're one baby mama away from a trip to Jerry Springer. to be on the show. So I don't know. He failed. His faith, him and Sarah, his wife didn't believe it to the point where she's like, why don't you just go bang another girl to her husband? Because she still wanted to fulfill the prophecy or whatever. And then she ends up getting pregnant and they have a kid anyway. But there were problems because of the lack of faith. So even Abraham in this story, Paul doesn't bring up the whole, banging the slave girl on the side. It says right there, yet he did not waver through unbelief regarding the promise of God, but was strengthened in his faith and gave glory to God, being fully persuaded that God had the power to do what he had promised. And yes, God did what he promised, but I kind of like, I'm reading this, Paul, this is what Paul says in his letters, but Abraham definitely didn't have the full faith that his, like I said, he got some strange on the side, and that's how he thought it was going to be done. And then he ended up with 2 kids that didn't get along. And he had to send the one girl away because his wife got jealous, and his wife was the one that told him to go bang the girl and get her pregnant, and then now they both have a kid, and now she's like, get rid of that slave girl because now they're competing against each other and having cat fights and shit. And it's like, he faltered in his faith. I mean, so I don't know about this, Paul. You didn't bring up that side of the story when you wrote that letter to the church. That's all I'm going to say. But I mean, people are going to get mad at me for, talking about things like that, but it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. I say over and over again that Game of Thrones was the most successful show on HBO. But if they turned the stories in the Bible into an HBO series, that would make Game of Thrones look like a G-rated movie matinee on Sunday at the movie theater. Like some Disney movie like Minions Part 2 or something like that. It would be that's the comparison between Game of Thrones and what's in the Bible. The Bible's nuts. It's full of crazy shit. So I don't even get I don't even feel that bad about swearing, because you know what? Read the Bible. Read about when like the Israelites invade a city and they take the little babies by the leg and throw them against the wall and kill them, and like just crazy shit. Like I think you might be worried about the wrong shit if you're worried about me and my potty mouth. So anyway, what was next? And then we got the book of Philippians, chapter 4, 6, and 7. Obviously, I'm not going to be the preacher at the watered down corporate white people church in Houston on Sunday. Putting up my Bible verse slides on the big multimedia screen and then dropping F-bombs for the congregation. It's just not my jam. It's not what I was brought here to do. But I can talk to you guys. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. And so yesterday, I had something, I'm not going to talk about the details of this one, but I had something kind of wild happen at the park yesterday. And he put something in my head that I needed to see and hear. And then I was walking by myself down a trail. Really didn't see too many people at all yesterday until I pulled out a camera to try and talk to you all. And then people just randomly would show up. But how do I put this? Thanksgiving. So I just was like, I got into this mood. I just started thanking God. Number one, for I do the thing where I have like, I have 10, if you count your thumbs, you got 10 fingers, 5 and 5. So sometimes I'll just be like, Adam, come up with 10 things to be grateful for today. That would put you in the right frame of mind to talk to God. If you're just going to start asking him for stuff and blah, 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 like you got to, like, to get into the right frame of mind to have a good conversation with God, be thankful for stuff. Even when I was in federal prison, I could come up with 10 things to be grateful for. And I would notice that if I do this regularly, a lot of the things will be the same from one day to the next. But if you go a span of months, they change. So yesterday, I the things that God's telling me, the three things that I, don't really want to throw the details out on yet. Um, one, two, three. I was thankful for all three of the things sight unseen. One of them got me a little bit choked up because I was like, that would be really awesome. And it's just, so I was thankful for those. I was thankful when I got to my car. When I got to my car, it was number 6 on the list. Now, I just got this car a couple months ago. So, I mean, that was number 1 on the list. Oh, thank you, God, so much for this car. But so much has happened in the last couple of months that the car became number 6 on the list. I already have 5 things that came to mind first. And so that's kind of where I'm at. But then, by prayer, and it says right here, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And then the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds, etc. It's like, it tells you right there, like, don't be anxious about anything. And when you pray with thanksgiving. Pray as if you've already received the thing, but be thankful for it. Like, be thankful for what he's done, what he's doing, all these things. So it's just, I don't know. That's just tells me to puts me in the right frame of mind. Because I went on a 7-mile walk yesterday. That's not chump change. At a pace of about 3 miles an hour. That's 2.5. I left at like 2:15. I got home at 4:30. So I was by myself the whole time, and I spent about 40 minutes on the video with you guys. So I don't know. I mean, I may have even left earlier than that. But however long it takes to walk 7 miles plus sitting and talking on a camera for 40 minutes. And so other than talking to you guys, I was in my own world. Pretty much, I got into a conversation with a couple random people, but that was it. Most of it, I was on my own. And so this was a verse that went along with this whole thing that I'm doing right now. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. So I'm just like it's telling me, if I just believe in what God's been telling me, then I'm gonna like, I just told you I'm an eagle a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about what kind of bird we are. I'm an eagle to begin with, so I'll soar like the eagle is supposed to soar. And I'll walk and not be faint. I'll renew my strength by hoping in these things unseen and having the faith that it's all going to go. He's not, if I ask him when, he just goes soon. I don't know if you've ever seen the show The Chosen. Every time the disciples ask Jesus when something's going to happen, he just says, soon. That's soon can be a lot of things, especially in eternity. Here's another one. I pulled a bunch of them out today. It says, the Lord is good to those who wait for him. Just like Heinz ketchup, good things come to those who wait. They say, the Lord is good to those who wait for him. To the soul who seeks him, it is good that one should hope and wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. So, just wait. That's what that's what I'm being told. Just wait. Like, stop dwelling on all this shit and, the evidence. Stop looking at the evidence and being convinced that, stop looking at the fact that it's been 8 days since you had your job interview and this person hasn't reached out to you and has not responded to your follow-ups. Maybe I got ghosted. I'm conditioned to believe that, but I need to stop living like that. Like expecting the worst every freaking time is not going to help me get past whatever he's trying to get me past. And so these thoughts come into my head and I just put it down. I just say it's not real. Stop doing that, Adam. Stop doubting it. Just if this isn't the one, then the one he's going to bring, he's whatever he said he's going to do, he's going to do. The more you doubt this, the longer it's going to take. It's kind of what I'm getting at as a vibe. Like, as soon as you finally let go of it, it'll be done. It was like when I took my car in to get fixed, and it took me 2 months to get that car fixed. I finally just walked away from it and said, fuck it. I dropped off the car and I walked away and I said, I don't even fucking care how long it takes at this point. It was done. As soon as I had that, like, I don't care anymore attitude about it, I got a call the next day saying it was done after 2 months of struggling with this. So he's kind of like, I think that was a lesson. Like, you got to walk away from these things on your mind like you did with the car that you struggled with for 2 months. And then all of a sudden it was fixed and everything was good to go. As soon as you let go of it, it was done. So he's just kind of like waiting for me to do that with these other things. For even when we were with you, we gave you this rule. Oh, these. Okay, yeah, these ones don't go along, but I'm keeping all these Bible verses in my slide deck so I can just pull them up whenever. So that pretty much wraps up the we're talking about the dystopian hellhole that we're going to be facing in our future, which is also in the Bible. But that wraps up the whole Jesus bit for today. And we're an hour and a half in. I'm usually going 3 hours on these, and I said it was going to be about half and half today. So that's basically what's going on. Now I got to see, where do I want to? Okay, so yeah, I think it was last week we had some viewers in the house, and then I started to talk about. I was talking about the tax code, right? Somebody brought up tax code. And we looked up, we Googled this together. We saw that the tax code is 6,000 pages long. We were talking about how ignorance of the law is no excuse. And we were talking about going to jail for tax evasion or screwing up your taxes or doing something wrong on your taxes. And I said, yeah, and the judge will tell you that ignorance of the law is no excuse for breaking the law. And then we looked it up, and the tax code is 6,000 pages long. That's 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. 6,000 pages of tax bullshit that you're just supposed to fucking know. And if you break that law, then ignorance of the law is no excuse. You're still going to prison. But the tax code is 6,000 pages long. How the fuck are you supposed to have that memorized and know what's in it? It's like when Nancy Pelosi passed Obamacare. She goes, we got to pass this law so that we know what's in it. You stupid fucking cunt. You're the one sitting in Congress with the law in front of you. You should know what the fuck's in it before you vote on it, right? I mean, that's how fucking retarded this shit show has become. And then the Treasury Department has an interpretation of the law. So the Treasury Department takes the law and then they interpret how they will enforce the law. And that document, the interpretation of the law, is 75,000 fucking pages long. 75,000 pages. Nobody knows what the fuck the law is. Nobody fucking knows. The Treasury Department don't know. Congress don't fucking know. The president doesn't know. The IRS doesn't know. Nobody in this fucking country even knows. That's 80,000 pages of shit that you're supposed to figure out and memorize. Fucking Grok, the AI bot, doesn't even fucking know. And he'll tell you straight up, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not supposed to give you legal advice, blah, 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 because if I do, I could get sued. And so, yeah, once again, I started talking about this stuff. Viewership went from 20 viewers to 2. Bang, like that. Just like that. As soon as I started talking about some real shit. And once again, it's like, why are you such a fucking asshole, Adam? And my response is always going to be, aren't the people who turned your tax law into a nightmare of 80,000 fucking pages of bullshit that even the tax people and the Treasury Department and the government and the Congress and the president and the fucking IRS themselves don't even fucking know? Can they be the assholes, or is it just Adam? Is it just Adam that's the asshole for talking about this? But I'm always the asshole, so I know the answer to that question. So, yeah. I feel like I've already purged the room of anybody who shouldn't be in here today. And we get into the topic of today. But, I'm basically, I'm always the asshole. I'm basically just like Jesus, right? I'm just like Jesus Christ. All Jesus, I'll tell you why. Because all Jesus ever did was come into the world to heal the sick, make the blind see, exorcise demons from people who were possessed, raise people from the dead, feed 5,000 people with a couple of fish and a loaf of bread, turn water into wine. My favorite, by the way. And he spoke out against the religious authorities who were blaspheming the word of God in God's house to the masses in order to keep themselves in power. And what happened? They gathered the crowds, and the crowds got together and called Jesus the asshole. And when Pontius Pilate paraded a convicted murderer side by side with Jesus and said, "Which one should I set free?" the crowd decided to set Barabbas, the convicted murderer, free and hang Jesus up on the cross because he's the asshole. He's the asshole who showed up and healed the sick and raised the dead and fed all the hungry people and, exorcised the demons and spoke out against corruption and all that. Fuck him. He's an asshole. Hang him up on a fucking board and let him die. Like, that's what I mean. If they did it to Jesus, they're going to do it to you. If you start telling the truth, if you start talking about real shit, you're going to get hit. You're going to have the same fate as Jesus. That's what they do. I mean, people today, they would set a murderer free, or let's say a child molester from Jeffrey Epstein Island. they would let the child molester go free and they would hang Jesus. It would be the same fucking thing today. We can't hold our crooked government officials accountable. Donald Trump won't even investigate his own assassination attempt and hold them accountable, let alone any of these other fucking criminals. But if Israel needs another $4 billion, he's going to send that check tomorrow. And if we need to go arrest some two-bit ass clown dictator from the other side of the world and bring him here for trial, we'll do that. Well, we can't go after the people that committed all the fraud with the Somali daycare bullshit in Minnesota, and we can't arrest the people that are starting and instigating all the riots. We can't do that. But we can go after this guy. We can go after this guy and throw him in federal prison for 2 years over some fucking Twitter posts. But the people that threw me into federal prison, they're out raping kids. They're living their best life. So yeah, that's exactly what you fucking people do. Not you, not you people watching right now, but the people. The same. I'm basically just like Jesus, right? That's what I'm getting at. So. But I'm helping. So I'm the messenger. You're going to crucify the messenger every time. I'll take your slings and arrows and I'll still say it like it is. Because I just don't care. My life, my career, my reputation, everything's destroyed. I got nothing to lose. I have the one thing I gained by going to federal prison for a Twitter post is that I'll never have to worry about having a career again. So I can say whatever I want, and there's freedom that comes with that most people don't have. And most people would never even know what that feels like because they're handcuffed to their job and their desk or their whatever, and they have to behave a certain way and say certain things and don't say this and don't say that because I got to keep my job or I'll lose my job, and then my wife will go bang some other guy and leave me, and then I'll be stuck living in a studio apartment paying alimony and child support while she's out banging 6 dudes a week and, like whatever, dude. Like your life is going to fall apart. I don't have these constraints. I can do what I want now. I got nothing to hold me accountable anymore. Just nothing. Fine, throw me out in the street to be fucking homeless again. Been there, done that. I already know what to do. So I don't want that, but I'm not afraid of it. I would like to keep moving on the upward trajectory from where I was, but I've already been homeless. I know what that I know what that's like. If it happened tomorrow, I'd be like, well, fuck, that sucks. I guess I'll do a YouTube video from the park till I can't pay my phone bill anymore. But anyway, I'm helping this friend write a book. And I have a slide for the book? So hold on a second. There we go. So I'm helping this friend write this book. And it's a book about he had an experience down here in Texas that changed his life. We have a lot of similarities. He didn't go to prison, but he was locked up for a bit and against his will. And he came to a realization about some things in life. And that's basically what changed his life for the better. And he rebuilt his life from a major fall in a lot of the same ways that I'm doing it myself. Except he's had a lot more time to rebuild. Now he's a successful business owner and he's got a lot of good things going on. He's very well connected. And I've got so many damn reviews for this book pouring in from like semi-famous people and local people. And like, it's coming together. But there was an issue with the book that led down a rabbit hole. Very small, minor thing in terms of the book, but it pissed me off. And I thought it was total bullshit because of the law, because of our laws in our country. And I don't even understand at a conceptual level because I have a sentence in the book which stated, I'm quoting the sentence that was in the book. As the band Rush sang, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. And then the next line was, I will choose free will. And that was part of an entire page and a half of text. It was, my friend was making a point, and I used one line from that song to illustrate the point, gave the band Rush credit, etc. Well, the main editor for this book came at me and said, hey, he's like, I'm quoting him exactly. I generally recommend against quoting song lyrics without obtaining permission. The songwriter organizations, ASPCA and BMI, are bulldogs for protecting their members, and they will come after you if they happen to discover your book. And I'm thinking, why is it illegal to quote one line from a song when you're telling people who the band is? But you can freely quote things that people say, like politicians and things like that. And, why can't I quote a line from a movie? Like, I quote lines from Star Wars all the time on this video. I could get sued for this. For using a line from a movie to illustrate a point is something I could actually lose millions of dollars for that I don't have for saying these things, because you're not free to say them because these words are fucking owned by somebody else. Do I believe that you should just be able to download Star Wars movies, burn them to DVD and go out and sell them in the parking lot? Not necessarily. I mean, I know people have done that in the past when we were, back in the DVD days, and people are downloading and passing around movies. I mean, hey, that's neither here nor there, but, I do have the means to watch movies that, just going to say that, but, it's not my server, but, that's one thing. I'm a photographer. If somebody just steals my photograph and puts it on an ad, I mean, I don't believe they should be able to just outright do that. But there is a concept in the law, and it's in the law. It's called fair use. And fair use means that you can quote things, you can take an excerpt from something, and you can quote a creative work like a song or a speech if you are using it in the context of where you're talking about it. And so, but they're taking that away from us because all these rich cocksuckers and their fucking lawyers have manipulated the system and bought the politicians and bribed the politicians to basically take away your right to quote people. And they're taking away the right for you to tell somebody else what somebody fucking said. And that's wrong. I mean, that's fucking wrong. So no, you can't just take one line from a song, quote the band, say, Rush sang in their song this line, and I think that it means this, that, and the other. You can't say that in your book because they can sue you they could take all the fucking profit from your book and put it in the hands of the lawyers and the band because you had a 200-page book and you put one line from a song in it, and now the fucking band owns the rights to your fucking book because you put a line from their song in your book. And all these fucking bands are supposed to stand up. A lot of these bands, they act like they stand up for what's right. And I'm like, okay, well, Rush, they sang, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. I will choose free will. Well, what if I chose the free will to mention that line from that song in my book? Well, now I don't have the fucking free will to do that. So shut the fuck up, Rush. Go eat a dick. Go choke on a fucking dick, Rush. You just told me that I can have free will until I want to use a line from your song and something that I'm talking about and say, I really like this song by Rush and they sing this one line and here it is. And I think it means this, that, and the other thing. I'm not allowed to tell you the line from the fucking song anymore because fair use doesn't exist anymore. YouTube is taking it away. All these platforms are completely decimating your right to quote people. And so there's a line in the fucking sand when it's like to outright steal somebody's copyrighted work, steal a fucking logo from a company, like, steal the name of a business and use it for your business. Like, there are things that are outright intellectual property theft. And I would not argue about that at all. I'm a photographer. I'm an artist. Somebody was just asking me, did I trademark my photography logo? I don't have to. I have copyright to it just because of the fact that I made it. You don't really have to trademark shit unless you're going to blow up. And just because you don't have a TM or just because you don't have a registered trademark doesn't mean that you don't own it. I can take that shit to court, show that I've been using it. So if somebody copied my logo, I'd beat them in court without having to have a trademark. I know how this shit works. I've been doing this for 30 years. The trademark will help you. It gives you extra protection. I hope you know that you don't, when you trademark a logo, you don't have to put the little TM next to it like companies do. Companies will have their corporate logo and then it always has this tiny little R with the circle or a TM next to it. You don't need that. If it's trademarked, it's fucking trademarked. You don't have to tell people it's trademarked. They just do that because their lawyers tell them to. Michael Jackson owned the rights. Somebody else owned Happy Birthday. No, that's why restaurants, when you go to like Chi-Chi's or whatever, and it's your birthday and they come out and they all come out and they're clapping their hands and it's your merry birthday. It's a good day at Chi-Chi's. Get your bloomin' onion. It's a happy, happy birthday, but we can't say that, but we have to say some corporate bullshit, right? And they do that big production where they can't sing happy birthday. They get fucking sued. If a restaurant sings happy birthday. But like, they're also telling you that, like, what if you go there with your family and your little 2-year-old's having a birthday and everybody sitting around the table sings happy birthday? The lawyers could show up and sue the fucking family and take away the kids' presents. Like, it's fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. Like, there's a fucking line in the sand. Like, is it going to get to the point where I'm like riding my bike to work and I'm singing a fucking song that I'm listening to on my speakers and I'm going to get sued for copyright violation because I sang a fucking song out loud that I like? If I want to sing wet ass pussy on my way to work while I'm riding my bike, am I going to get sued because I don't own the copyright to wet ass pussy? And that's just the song that was playing on my way in today. The reason why that one popped into my head is because I've been getting some bans lately. I'm going to talk about them. I got banned. I got a 12-hour ban on X because I told Dan Bongino to go choke on a dick. He showed up in my feed. I don't follow him, and I don't want to see him. I told him to go choke on a dick, and they suspended my account for 12 hours. And then I appealed, and I used Grok to file my appeal. Grok found over 100 people's posts where they told somebody to go choke on a dick. And so I compiled that together, and then I sent it to X and said, hey, how come all of these other people get to tell somebody to go choke on a dick? But when I told Dan Bongino to go choke on a dick, you suspended me for 12 hours for violent threats. Telling Dan Bongino to go choke on a dick is considered a violent threat. I'm surprised the FBI didn't drive a fucking tank into my house that night for telling Dan Bongino to go choke on a dick. But he doesn't work for the FBI anymore because he didn't fucking do anything for the year he was there, and he finally had to leave because everybody's like, what the fuck are you still doing there? You're obviously not doing your job. That's why I told him to go choke on a dick. And then somebody posted something. I got in trouble on Instagram. It's like I can't avoid this shit. So somebody posted on Instagram Megan Thee Stallion video from Kamala Harris rally, and the subtitle, it was just, that dumb girl singing her dumbass song for Kamala Harris at the rally. You know what I'm talking about, shaking her booty and all that. And the caption of the video was like, how did Kamala Harris lose? And so I responded to it and I said, if she had picked wet ass pussy instead, she would have won. Boom, banned, got hit. I got hit with a strike for saying if Kamala Harris would have chose wet ass pussy instead of the song that she picked for her rally, she might have won. So yeah, you can't say that. Can't say that either. So I got hit twice. And then last weekend on Sunday, I'll talk about this since we're on the topic, at the members only live stream. There's only 6 people watching. I pulled up a YouTube video of a clip from the show Mad Men. And I didn't play it at first, but we got to talking about it. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to play the clip. And I hit play on YouTube, playing the clip for people watching on YouTube. And the person's channel that the clip sits on is not the film company that made the show Mad Men. As soon as I played that clip, all these warnings popped up on my screen, and YouTube was basically like, we're gonna ban you, we're gonna shut down your account and suspend you for this. Well, then they had a change of heart. So all they did at the end of the day was demonetize the video. They demonetized a video that I wasn't going to monetize anyway, and then they told me that they may run ads on the video and give all the money to the people who own the copyright to Mad Men. And so I'm like, that is kind of a little bit of a bullshit thing, because I used a clip that was about 1.5 minutes long in the context of a 3-hour long video. But because I played a clip that was 1.5 minutes long that I already found on YouTube that somebody else posted, now the creators of Mad Men own that episode of my stream. They own it. Any money, they can choose to monetize it themselves, and they can collect all the money from a 3-hour live stream because I used a 1 minute long clip from their show in my stream. So because I used a little clip in the context of a 3-hour stream, they own the rights to my whole fucking stream now. How about we work out some sort of fucking deal where they own the percentage of a 1 minute clip in the context of a 3-hour, whatever the percentage is? That's like a half of a percent. But YouTube's gotten so fucking retarded now that I could do a 3-hour video, right? Let's say I'm at a coffee shop or I'm walking down the street. Let's say I'm walking down the street of Manhattan talking into my phone and someone's got one of them ghetto blasters from back in the day on the side and then they're doing break dancing or something like that. Like Grandmaster Flash is bumping some jams on the side of the street as I walk by. And let's say that there's a clip from a song in the background of my video, or maybe I'm in a department store and there's music playing over the speakers. There's a song playing in the background. Has nothing to fucking do with the content of my video, and it's in the background, and say it's like 30 seconds or less. YouTube's got bots that will pick that up and they will come at you and say, copyright strike. We detected this song as part of your video, and now the copyright owner of that song, they own your fucking video now. You don't get to monetize your video. We might give you a copyright strike. We might kick you off of the platform for posting that video unless you want to delete it. And because their song shows up for 30 seconds in the background, for 30 seconds out of a 3-hour long video, the writer of that song now owns any rights and proceeds and money that your video makes. Like, tell me how that's even remotely fucking fair. How is that even remotely fair to a creator? Especially if you weren't doing it on purpose. You're just talking into a video and like someone drives by with a bouncing car in this, you're in Los Angeles, you're in Long Beach or whatever. Snoop Dogg drives around in his bouncing car and you pick up his fucking song that's playing as he goes by in the background. And now the copyright owner of that song owns all the royalties from your video because their song showed up for 5 seconds out of a 2-hour long video. Your part of that doesn't count for shit. The songwriter for that song that was in your video for 5 minutes now owns your whole fucking video, and all the rights and all the money and all the monetization goes to them. You don't get shit. And you're getting threatened with copyright strikes and getting kicked off the fucking platform. This fucking platform, YouTube, sucks dick. I fucking hate YouTube. I'm on it. It's the only platform where you can even have an audience with video that'll actually grow. But I don't have to sit here and kiss their ass and say that I like them. I hate them. I fucking hate YouTube. I'm going off tangent here, but I was just in another one of these elite YouTube creator meetings that they have me in, that program where all the people that have all the so anyway, this is part of what God is telling me. He's telling me that like this stuff's gonna blow up on me, right? And I don't believe him. And so Glenn, what's up? No, you're just in time. We're just getting into the juicy stuff now. So you can watch the replay, whatever, No, man, this chat's just getting lit. You're right on time. Don't worry about it. So where was I? Yeah, I'm doing this is 3 hours today, dog. We're good. So I did the first half on one topic, second half is on this. But anyway, I'm shadow banned. We all know this. I'm in the creator comp, whatever, the elite creators program, whatever. But I'm literally like the only one in this crowd. I have 1,200 subscribers, and I haven't had a new subscriber show up for 17 months now, 18 months. And I'm surrounded by people in this program with 100,000, 300,000. One guy had 4.2 million subscribers. Like, they're putting me in this elite program. They said I was handpicked. I'm like, handpicked by who? I don't understand why I'm in this thing. It makes no sense. I'm like, so I have a personal account manager at YouTube that I'm like, so I reach out to them and I'm like, why am I shadow banned? They're like, you're not. I'm like, bullshit. Here's all my evidence. I know that you're not supposed to tell people that they're shadow banned because YouTube doesn't want to admit that they shadow ban people, but that's exactly what they do when you say things they don't like. Well, anyway, I'm in this breakout room with a bunch of other creators. And I always tell my story. Like, I never talk first. I just sit in the back. I leave my camera on, but I don't talk. And I just listen because, when you're in these kind of things, you'll get a few people that just ba 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 ba, and they just never stop talking. And then you've got a whole bunch of people that just sit back and watch. I'm like a wallflower. Well, they asked me to talk, and I wasn't feeling it. It was Tuesday. I was wrecked. I was tired, but I decided to talk. And so they were like, introduce yourself. And so I was like, yeah, I went to federal prison for a mean tweet. Then I was homeless. And this channel is about me rebuilding, but I'm shadow banned. And then I talked about why I'm shadow banned. And this one guy jumps in and he goes, oh my God. He's like, he told me, he's like, I can totally relate to you. I run a truther channel. And I looked at his channel. He's got like at least 100,000 subscribers. And he was like, that's bullshit that they locked you down like that. And then like we started talking one-on-one and we talked for a while. So I might go on his show, his channel, and collab with this guy. He's like, I got to get you on my channel so you can share your story because I've got 100,000 subscribers. He's like, I get 5,000-6,000 views on every video I do. He's like, I'll get you some subscribers to head over to your channel and go from there. And we're talking. We haven't set anything up. I've been extremely busy for the last 3 days. So we've been direct messaging on X back and forth since that meeting where we met. But I basically got introduced. I was like, you know what? I was taking a freaking nap when that meeting turned up on my calendar. And I was about to just roll over and go back to sleep because I just had a really bad day at the bakery the day before and I was feeling rough. I had some meetings in the morning and then I went and took a nap and I woke up from the nap and it was time for the YouTube thing, the meeting with all those people. And I almost blew it off, but I'm like, nah, don't, Dan, just go. All you got to do is sit and sit there. You don't even have to participate. But then I show up and I participate and then I meet somebody who might actually be able to I don't even care about if I get subscribers or not. I feel like I made a new friend, like a truth teller. He's a truther. That's what I went to his YouTube channel and I'm looking at all the titles of his video and I'm like, Isaac Cappy, QAnon this and blah, blah. I'm like, oh yeah, we'll get along. Just all this crazy stuff. All I had to do is look at the titles of all his videos and I'm thinking, how did you get to 100K? But, we talked for a while. And he's actually really good at the YouTube game. I think he sticks more with the boundaries and pushes the limits of what you can and can't get away with, where I just don't care. But anyway, yeah, don't touch me because I'm close to the edge. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying not to lose my head, dog. That's all. But there we go. Now I'm going to get sued by Grandmaster Flash and Rush and Star Wars. Disney's going to come after me for quoting all these things out of Star Wars and putting a picture of Yoda on the screen. And you can't say anything anymore. I mean, how long is it going to be before it's illegal to quote something that a politician said? How a lawmaker says something. At some point, they're going to make it illegal to quote something that our own lawmakers said to us so that we can't even share what these dirtbags are saying to us with each other. How long before I could be put in prison because I printed a quote from Donald Trump or whoever the next 2-bit ass clown dictator of America happens to be, right? I mean, we're on a slippery slope with the way things are going, and it's all meant to destroy your freedom of speech. I am. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. Yeah, that's for the members only. But okay. Dr. Martin Luther King. I have a dream. I'm going to get sued by the family of Dr. Martin Luther King now because I quoted him. You can't. Okay, you were talking about how happy birthday. You were talking about how happy birthday. You can't sing happy birthday without being sued. They're probably AI If you have Alexa in your home, for example, and you sing happy birthday at your kid's birthday party, Alexa might chime in and send that to the lawyer for BMI, and you're going to get a cease and you're either going to get like a cease and desist in the mail, you're going to get a summons, you're going to end up going to court and losing your fucking house. BMI is going to own your house because you sang happy birthday at your 2-year-old kid's fucking birthday party. That's what they want. That's what they want to do to you. I have a dream. Martin Luther King talking about how we all need to get along and stop being racist and you know, love one another. Can't talk about that. His family will fucking sue you. That I have a dream is copyrighted. That motherfucker got up on the fucking mall in Washington, D.C. on our public property and gave a speech out in the open air to the fucking masses. You're not allowed to quote that. That's copyrighted. His family will come at you if you use it. Can't put it in a book. Can't quote him in a book without their permission. Once again, like, says the fuck who? Like, says who? It's going to get to the point where the fucking Constitution is copywritten and you can't fucking quote the Bill of Rights anymore. You can't even, the First Amendment that talks about freedom of speech, it will be illegal to quote the First Amendment. You won't even have the speech. You won't even have enough freedom of speech to quote the First fucking Amendment of the goddamn Constitution. So, I mean, this whole thing, it pisses me off. You can tell. Can't you tell? Look, we're down to 4 viewers now because I start saying real shit. Everybody's like, nope, can't have none of that. Beer and football. That's all I want. But I mean, I still think it's ironic. You know, like I said, if I choose free will to quote a line from a Rush song, that I could be sued into oblivion and find myself wrapped up in court costs and legal fees for doing what the band told me to do. I will choose free will. Well, except for, you know, quoting a line from our song in your book, you don't have the free will to do that. Okay, you know, you got to have that guy that talks really fast at the end of the commercials when he gives you all the terms and conditions and all the side effects of the drugs, like the drug that's supposed to make your restless leg syndrome go away. But if you have bloody ears and blood coming out of your eyes and pus coming out of your mouth, then, you know, those side effects are, they happen 1 in 1,000. You know, those people that talk really fast with the lawyer bullshit at the end of every commercial. Every fucking, yeah, Rush had to put a disclaimer on the end of their song about I will choose free will except in these extenuating circumstances where you want to quote the line from the song, right? You can't. If I choose not to decide, did I still make a choice? Can I choose free will? No, I can't. According to Rush's fucking lawyer, I can't. And so, like I said, as a photographer, I don't want people stealing my photos and just blatantly. I've caught people using my photos without my permission. And I handle it different ways. I mean, like, I'm not like fucking Metallica and I'm going to go sue somebody for downloading an MP3 of Enter Sandman. Like that fucking drummer from Metallica was trying to go after everybody that downloaded a copy of their songs. Like, I'm not that guy. My photos are out there. I know people will steal them. People are like, oh, you should put watermarks on your photos. I don't. You want to know why? Because I did this. I experimented with it. I did the homework and research as a photographer. Let's just say back when Instagram used to be about photos and it's not just a bunch of TikTok, retarded ass TikTok videos, because that's all Instagram is now. There's no photography on there anymore. Just a bunch of dumbass TikTok videos and women walking around in thongs. So with the TikTok or with the Instagram situation, so a photographer, if you put watermark on your photo, so that at least if someone steals your photo, it has your logo or your monogram or whatever it is in the corner. People will not share. People will not like them. People will not repost them. People will not interact with you. Because why? Because they think you're a fucking douchebag for putting your logo on your photos. That's the exact reason. They think you're a fucking snobby ass douchebag and they don't want to interact with you because you're too good for the room for putting your logo on your photos. Or, yeah, for putting a watermark on them. Number two, watermarks are easy to get rid of or fudge over. Or, if you want to steal a photo that has a watermark, it's not hard to get rid of the watermark and make it good enough. So it really doesn't accomplish anything there. But I can tell you from experience, not just from my own experience, but from research, that photos without watermarks, photographers who don't put watermarks on their photos, their accounts and their followings grow exponentially faster than photos with watermarks. It's that whole culture that everybody who's online should be doing everything for free. I guess I don't know, but you're not supposed to put watermarks. Also ruin, they ruin the aesthetic of a photograph, in my opinion. If I have to slap a watermark on there somewhere, it takes away the aesthetic appeal of the photo. So I don't like them for that reason. But I experimented with this and I learned. Whenever I didn't put watermarks on the photos, they would get shared and circulated and likes and all that stuff. Put a watermark on it, nobody wants to fucking touch it. So you're just wasting your time. But when it comes to quoting a line from a song, AI gave me some information. This is not legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. But based on U.S. copyright law, how it's applied in publishing, why song lyrics are treated differently, and why it feels like bullshit, the core issue is copyright protection. Song lyrics are considered highly creative works owned by the songwriter, publisher, or rights holder, often managed by organizations like ASCAP, BMI, and others. And the groups are indeed bulldogs, as your editor said, because their job is to enforce royalties for any use, even short quotes. Here's why song lyrics get special scrutiny. Lyrics are published works with strong intellectual property rights, unlike a casual spoken quote, i.e., something a politician says at a rally. Lyrics are fixed in a tangible form, sheet music, recordings, and registered for copyright. Quoting even one line is seen as reproducing part of that protected work, which could substitute for buying the song or sheet music, hurting the market. So what they're telling you, the lawyer's argument in court, if you quote one line of a song in a 300-page book to explain a concept and to talk about that line from that song, the lawyer is going to argue that that is a substitute for buying the song or the sheet music for that song, and you're hurting the sales because people can buy that song without having to buy it from the artist. We all know that's a bunch of fucking bullshit. But when the judges, the politicians, and everybody in this fucking courtroom are paid off by these dirty cocksuckers in charge, these media companies, we basically have 2 or 3 media companies that own all media in the United States. And that includes TV stations, radio stations, the streaming services, the movie industry, the publishing, all the magazines, books, every media there is. It's owned by 6 people when you bubble it up to the top. And how many of those are owned by BlackRock at this point? I don't even know. Historical context: music industry lobbying in the 20th century strengthened lyric protections. That, in other words, bribes. Rich lawyer assholes from the music industry have bribed the politicians into making the laws so that these lawyers can rake in money by suing people for minuscule fucking reasons. Courts have ruled, kangaroo courts have ruled, that even brief quotes, 2 lines from a Grateful Dead song in a book, can infringe if not transformative enough. Publishers often settle demands for $500 to $5,000 per line to avoid court. That's what it is. Lawyer gets the standing to be able to send you a letter that says, we're going to sue you into oblivion and take all the profit from your book because you quoted one line from a fucking song. Or you give us $5,000 and we go away. It's a fucking racket. I mean, it's just like Tony Soprano showing up at your bakery and saying that you have to pay him protection money. And if you don't, Well, your bakery just might burn to the ground, but there's nothing that we can do about it. But if you pay us to protect you, you'll be protecting yourself from us coming in the middle of the night to burn your fucking bakery to the ground. So, I mean, that's basically, it's no different. They're getting rid of public domain. Most modern songs post 1928 are copyrighted for 95 years or life, plus 70 years. Russia's free will, for example, is protected until at least 2075. So in 2076, I might be able to quote a line from the song in a book. Yeah, I mean, but the Ghostbusters, the Huey Lewis thing, singers sue each other all the time for stealing each other's songs. Katy Perry stole a song from a Christian band, and she had to pay them. It's all just rich assholes swinging their dicks in the courtroom. Like, I don't think the musicians don't really. I don't think the musicians give that much of a fuck about it. It's the people that own the musicians that do. Donald Duck orange juice. This is like just a random one because we're talking about when does copyright expire. Disney, number one. Disney is the company, the biggest company right now that has lobbied to basically make it so copyright never expires, because copyright used to expire after a certain period of time. So anyway, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to share my screen here. Donald Duck orange juice. You see this shit at the grocery store. Okay. They got away with this. The Disney doesn't own that shit. Disney don't own that. I mean, they might now. I don't know. They might have worked some shit out. But Donald Duck, basically these people found out that Disney's copyright for Donald Duck expired, and they're like, fuck, we're just going to slap Donald Duck on the orange juice bottles so that all the little kids will want to buy the orange juice. But they got away with it because Disney didn't own the copyright to Donald Duck anymore. Now, I don't know what kind of shit's been worked out since, but that was, so basically what was about to happen is Mickey Mouse. Like, Donald Duck is one thing. The copyright for Mickey Mouse was about to expire. And so Disney had to go to Congress with bags of money and hookers and cocaine and everything else and bribe all of these fucking politicians into passing laws so that Mickey Mouse never expired. Because imagine how much money would Disney be throwing down the toilet if Mickey Mouse wasn't copyrighted anymore. They'd be fucked. I mean, they wouldn't be fucked because they're Disney. They make money. They have 1,000 different ways from Sunday to make money, even if they lost Mickey Mouse. But that's big. That's like their main brand is Mickey Mouse. And so, like, anybody could sell a hat with Mickey Mouse ears, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, people could go down and stand outside the entrance to Disney World with a table selling Mickey Mouse hats for pennies on the dollar. And they weren't going to have that shit. So once again, they showed up in Congress, bags of money, hookers, blow, little kids, trips to Epstein Island, whatever the fuck they had to do, bribe these motherfuckers to pass laws so that the copyright on Mickey Mouse would never expire. And so that's what's going on. They're taking away your right just to quote something somebody said. Speeches and quotes, for example, fair game under news reporting or public domain, but if copyrighted, like Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream, which is owned by his estate until the year 2058, they can sue you. The family has gone after unauthorized uses in ads or books. But it's been less aggressively enforced than the song lyrics. They will go after you tooth and nail. In fact, my client was scared to death. He had to take that line out of his book. And I don't want to say too much, but he has to deal with the BMI and ASCAP and all of them because he owns a bar and he has bands playing in the bar and he has DJs in the bar. And so he has to pay a fee to these record industry cocksuckers every year, and it's tens of thousands of dollars because he owns a bar and there's music being played in the bar. So he has to pay them for the music. And so there's a lot of like gray area there. But it's basically boils down to who has the deepest pockets. Whoever has the deepest pockets wins the game when it comes to court. That's why the federal government has a 98% conviction rate, because nobody can afford $100,000 to hire a lawyer when they get arrested by the FBI. But anyway, I'm going to jump around a little bit. Do you remember? This is going to take me a second, because I did not pull up this slide. I didn't make a slide for this, but it's not hard to find. Dude, come on. Okay. Open image in new tab. There we go. Zoom in. All right, now I can switch. You remember this poster? Now, whether you hate or love Obama, that's not the issue here. Ooh, I wonder if I can copy image address. Okay, that might work. Adam, it's my opinion that everything that is displayed on the internet is free for everybody, unless the commercial interest posting the video want to make a profit with commercials and then compensate. The whole thing's just a gray area. It's like the tax code. I guarantee you, if you dig into the copyright law, you're going to find more pages than a human being could ever read or know. And I'm not saying that you should be outright able to steal or not steal, but let's talk about this guy who made this poster. Remember the famous poster that helped get Barack Obama elected president? You know that this guy not only got sued, he got sued for this hard, and he almost went to prison. He actually got sentenced to probation for making a fucking poster. So yeah, you think I'm the first person who went to prison for a Twitter post? This guy almost went to prison for a fucking Obama poster, for making an Obama poster, for fuck's sake. He was fined $25,000 and given 2 years of probation for this. Shepard Fairey pleaded guilty in February to destroying documents and fabricating evidence in his legal battle with the Associated Press. So, what happened was the Associated Press owned this photograph on the left of Barack Obama. This guy made a poster of Obama, and it kind of looks like he may have copied the photo. And so this is a real thing, that if you make a derivative work, which you're supposed to be able to do this under law, you can make a drawing that looks like a photograph, and if you've changed it around enough. But the Associated Press sued this guy who made the Obama poster for making this poster, and this is what they said, that he copied the photograph that you see here to the left of Obama. And they do look similar, but if you put one on top of the other, you can't say for sure. And how many other thousands of photographers have taken the same fucking picture of Obama, making the same face and the same head angle? When you're a president, there were probably 1,000 photographers. There were probably 15 to 30 photographers standing in the same exact spot where that Associated Press photographer took this fucking photograph, and all of them had their finger on the button of their high-speed shutter cameras going, taking like 600 pictures of Obama's face in the span of 10 seconds. So there's probably 20,000 of the same fucking picture from that same day, taken by 50 different photographers. What do they call it? Spray and pray. That's what they call it when you're a photographer and you're in a setting like that. You take a photograph and you just hold down the button with your high speed shutter, your what the hell, continuous shutter mode turned on, and you just and just let it run. And then you've got like 6,000 frames to pick from. You basically shot a video in high resolution. That's the spray and pray. You do that. I do that with sports. If I was shooting a Steelers game on the sidelines and I have my monopod and my long lens and somebody's about to catch the ball, I'll try to time it right, but I'm going to use continuous shutter so my camera goes so that, like, you know, I'm going to try and time it so that I get the right shot. But a lot of these times the politician will be sitting still and they'll still spray and pray like that. But anyway, so they sued him. But supposedly the artist had thrown away some paperwork or whatever the fuck. And then he had to come out and, like, he had to do 300 hours community service. He was on 2 years probation, fined $25,000 in a criminal case for making a fucking Obama poster. He could have went to prison for 6 months. He went and sued the AP when they accused him of violating copyright laws by reproducing the image of Barack Obama on his poster without crediting the news agency. And he wanted a declaration in court saying he had not violated their copyright and that his use of the image fell under fair use laws. So he's almost admitting that he did use that photo as the reference. But I went to art school. I mean, we were taught that you're allowed to do this to an extent, that it's a gray area here. Anybody can sue anybody for anything they want. It's whether they can win is what you're dealing with here. And but anyway, they charged him with contempt for trying to conceal evidence relating to the use of the image or whatever. And he had to apologize, and he had to come out in a statement released after his court case. My wrong-headed actions, born out of a moment of fear and embarrassment, have not only been financially and psychologically costly to myself and my family, but have also helped to obscure what I was fighting for in the first place, the ability of artists everywhere to be inspired and freely create art without reprisal. He had to basically... Could you imagine if I was given that press conference after my fucking getting sentenced to probation and a $25,000 fine and being threatened with fucking prison over a fucking poster design? You think I would have been kissing everybody's ass? I'd have been like, that fucking kangaroo court and corrupt ass judge, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't have given a fuck at that point. Hey, what's up, Angel, in our midst? I'm still going through the topic here. We hope that this case will serve as a clear reminder to all of the importance of fair compensation for those who gather and produce original news content. That's what the AP president said. That thank God we stopped people from being able to take a photograph and turn it into a poster. Because you don't have any free speech anymore. And it's not just that. So, like, now I'm a photographer and I want to sell my photos. And I'm going to go right to my website here. And you can see now on my photograph collection, I've got a lot of photos of cities. And every city in America has this problem right now. Companies... Look at this photo, for example. How many corporate logos do you see on the buildings in this photograph? We got UPMC, Highmark, K&L Gates, Equitable Gas, another Equitable Gas, Huntington Bank. I can see a bunch more. That's one photo of Pittsburgh. Here's another photo of downtown Pittsburgh, the Highmark logo. Here's another photo of downtown Pittsburgh. Bunch of corporate logos. Here's Mellon Bank, or BNY Mellon, Highmark, K&L Gates, Equitable Gas, UPMC, Huntington Bank, some other shit, Federated Investors over here. I mean, I'm counting tons of images with tons of logos. So what's happening in every city in America is that these corporations are sticking their logos on the buildings. Okay, that's fine. Here's one for Citizens Bank that I didn't mention. People, I mean, it's what people get sued for whatever. You can sue anybody for anything. It's whether or not it'll stand up in court. And it's a game that shitty ass lawyers play to see if they can make money from it, because the goal is to get you to settle, threaten you with a big ass lawsuit that they may or may not win, but trick you into paying them a settlement to get them out of your hair. That's the game. So these fucking companies stick their logos on buildings that are in public view. When you're standing at this viewpoint in Pittsburgh and you're looking out at the city, you're seeing PNC Bank, Citizens Bank, BMY Mellon, UPMC, Highmark, K&L Gates, Huntington Bank, and all Equitable Gas, and all of these companies with their logos on the buildings. These are claiming Skyline now. They have every right to put up a logo on their building, but there you go. I'm going to deviate here because JS says AI stole tons of material for their learning language model training, yet they don't get punished. AI is built off of copyrighted material, all of it. Everything that AI bots have gone out and scraped the internet, not just words, not just photographs, but everything from music and sound, and everything that AI does is stolen from something that we did as humans. Everything. They used all the stuff that we made to train themselves how to make it. Definitely. But in this case, with the photos of the city skylines with all the logos on them, these companies now will sue you. If I publish this photo as an ad, like as an ad for the city of fucking Pittsburgh, for crying out loud, tourism ad or something like that, Pittsburgh, I can get sued by UPMC, K&L Gates, Highmark, Equitable Gas, Huntington Bank, BNY Mellon, and all because their logos are in my ad. So when the company puts their sign on a building, now they claim that they own the skyline of your city. It's not public anymore. It doesn't belong to the people. It belongs to them. So if I take this beautiful photo of downtown Pittsburgh, with the lights on and the sheen on the river and all that, and I use it in an ad, I'm supposed to Photoshop out all of these fucking logos. Or I can get sued. Because that Highmark logo is in the ad, I'm infringing on their copyright and all. But what about when I'm driving down the fucking street looking at the city of Pittsburgh and I see all these fucking logos everywhere? That is what it is. And now you're telling me that you own that fucking that you own the skyline now because you stuck your fucking logo on it for everybody to see. Well, what the fuck what are we going to do now? I think, are we going to copyright mountains now? That like you can't fucking you can't post a picture of Denali. You can't post a picture of Mount Everest anymore because it's copyrighted. France did that with the Eiffel Tower. You're not allowed to use a photo of the Eiffel Tower for anything without permission from the government of France. They'll come after you for that. They'll fucking throw their lawyers at you. I've taken lots of photos of things that I'm not supposed to and sold them. When I run the risk of like the falling water, Frank Lloyd Wright. This house in Western Pennsylvania, the famous house Falling Water that's built on top of the waterfall here. You can't sell a picture of that. All the photos are taken in the same spot. They have they have very controlled. It's a very controlled environment when you go look at this house. this spot where this photograph of the house is taken is like a designated photo spot. That's why every fucking photo of the house looks the same, because they're all taken from this one spot. I've got nice photos of this, but I could get sued if I sold them. Because it's a copyrighted work. It's like, it's not just something that's there for you to take a picture of. But they're gonna fucking copyright mountains. They're gonna copyright a river soon. Like, you can't take a picture of the fucking river. Can't take it. They'll copyright the fucking ocean, and they'll copyright the sun. Take a picture of the fucking sunset and you'll get sued by somebody who claims they own the sun. It's getting that fucking retarded. I mean, Paris Hilton tried to copyright the phrase "that's hot." So anybody who says "that's hot," she didn't win, or she wasn't able to do it, but the bitch tried to copyright and to trademark "that's hot," so that nobody can ever fucking say that again without having to pay her. This is where we're going, though. I mean, they're just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until they get what they want. And if they don't win today, they'll try it again next week, and then they'll try it again next week, and try it again next week. And eventually they're just going to wear down free speech to where you're not free to say a fucking thing. It's going to be like, have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy? Right? This movie here. You ever see the movie Idiocracy? And then there's that scene, there's the scenes in the movie where they're like, everybody in the White House is talking, and they're like, brought to you by Carl's Jr. and brought to you by Carl's Jr., et cetera, et cetera. That's what everybody's going to be like. You're going to have to talk about, the next time I go, you're going to quote some politician's speech. "I have a dream," brought to you by Carl's Jr. Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech, brought to you by Carl's Jr. The whole thing is going downhill. It's getting bad. Like, they want to control, they want to say that they own your city skyline. I can't sell photos of the city skylines that I was showing you on commercial stock photography websites unless I go to the painstaking trouble of photoshopping out all of the logos on the buildings. Can't sell a photo of a car. Can't take a nice picture of a Porsche and sell it, because Porsche owns your photo. They own your fucking photo because their car is in your photo. You take a picture of a highway. I'm telling you, if you take a picture of a highway with cars on it, the agencies will say, we can't sell that photograph because those cars are all copyrighted. They're all intellectual property. That's a Ford pickup truck. That's a Porsche. That's a Lamborghini, whatever. You can't fucking show what's there. "Let's Get Ready to Rumble" is copyrighted by the boxing announcer. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so he did that. I don't even think, like, sometimes they have good intention. Like, he trademarked that so that he can be the only announcer who shows up to the boxing match and yells it, because everybody would yell it. And he wanted it to be his own thing. Okay, fine. But, like, to what extent can he go and enforce that? I don't know. The whole thing's fucked up. The whole thing is just, I think it's just gotten ridiculous. And it's not just speech. It's not just freedom of speech. We're on a slippery slope that's going to lead right down the path of exactly what I showed you in the thumbnail image for today's video. This dystopian future where everybody's walking around in a fucking gas mask, picking diseased corn out from a field next to a slum burned out city. And why do I say that? Because it's not just the music lyrics. It's not just Martin Luther King speeches. It's not that. It's everything. Look at Monsanto. The inspiration for that image is Monsanto. Monsanto has copyrighted seeds. They've copyrighted seeds for the farm. So a farmer has to buy these fucking seeds from Monsanto every year, and they can't save the seeds from the crops that they grow every year. And in fact, a lot of these genetically modified crops don't even produce seeds. But if they do, you're not allowed to keep them and plant your own seeds next year. And to make matters worse, that, you know, aside from all the Frankenstein shit they've done with the food and poisoning us with it, so that they can, you know, genetically modify the crops so they can spray poison all over them, and then we eat the fucking poison on top of the fucked up genetically modified food. If you have a farm and you want to grow things organically and naturally, and you want Monsanto to be out of your fucking life, but you're across the road from a farmer who planted Monsanto's crops, if the wind, which it does, the wind is going to blow pollen from the Monsanto field onto your crops. And then Monsanto's lawyers and the police and the farm police or whatever, they're going to show up at your farm. Now Monsanto owns your fucking farm because they copyrighted seeds. They copyrighted life. They've copyrighted seeds. And the wind blew the pollen from that field onto your field. You didn't ask for that shit. You didn't sign up for it. You didn't want that garbage in your fucking property. But the wind blew it onto your property. Monsanto shows up and says, we own your farm now. You have to pay us because now you're growing our patented, copyrighted seeds on your farm. And if you don't pay up, we'll drag your ass to court. We're going to sue you into oblivion. We're going to rule in against you because all the judges are bought and paid for. You know, the judge in your district, all the hookers and blow and little boys that he fucks in the back room are all paid for by us. We own that motherfucker. We own your farm now because the wind blew our fucking pollen onto your field. That's a real thing. That's real shit that happens every fucking day in this country. And they're allowed to do it because the bought and paid for child molesting politicians have allowed them to fucking do it. And so it's not just song lyrics, is it? It's not just a photograph, is it? It's not just an Obama poster that someone made when they looked at a photo of Obama and said, that's how I'm going to draw him. It's the fucking seeds to the food that you eat to live that they've copyrighted. They're going to copyright your fucking genes. They're going to make you pay Monsanto or some other douchebag company a fucking royalty fee for having a baby. Because they're going to say that the genetic code of your baby is owned by them. And you're going to have to pay a fucking subscription fee for your baby to have your baby. And to have your baby live, you're going to have to pay a subscription fee for your baby to some douchebag corporation. Just like when you buy a BMW now, you got to pay a monthly subscription to have your heated seats work. Or you have to pay a monthly subscription for the fucking stereo in your car to play. You're going to have to pay a monthly subscription fee for your baby. And if you miss a payment, they come and kill your baby. That's what that's what they want. That's what they want to do. The proof is in their fucking actions. They've already copyrighted seeds for the food that you fucking need to live. They're going to copyright animals. They're going to be like, cows are going to be owned by Monsanto. And you're going to have to I don't even know what the fuck. Shit's fucked up, man. We're in a bad place right now. We're fucked. They're going to own the whole fucking food supply, and they're going to poison the shit out of us, and they're going to make it impossible to eat food that's not been poisoned by them. And then you've got companies like Nestlé. Nestlé, along with rich people like the Bush family is involved in this, the George Bush, the Bush family, Nestlé, and some other high rollers are busy buying up all of the world's aquifers and fresh water supplies. Why? Because they've already got people conditioned to buying bottled water instead of being able to drink natural water. Water covers 70% of the Earth's surface, but drinking water is a lot less than that. But either way, they are trying to buy the world's water supply so that they own it and so that you can't just have it. And what they're going to do is they're going to poison the world's water supply. They're going to make it so you can't fucking drink water anymore. They're already doing it. They're spraying shit in the skies, the chemtrails and everything else that they're doing, the pollution and everything else that they're up to. They're poisoning the world's water supply. Why? Because they're going to sell it to you in bottles, and you're going to have to pay these rich cocksuckers to have water. So now you're going to have to pay these cocksuckers to have fucking seeds and food. You're also going to have to pay them for the water that you need to survive. You're going to have to pay them for that. Like, water, you just used to be water. Like, that, it wasn't that long ago that these fucking douchebags came up with the concept of charging you for the things that you need to survive, not for the things that you want. Like 100 years ago, they would have been shot. 100 years ago, if a bunch of rich cocksuckers said, we're going to buy up the world's water supply so that we can poison it, and then you have to buy clean water from us because we're the only source, they'd have been shot or hanged. They would have been killed. And now they're just living their best life because all people give a fuck about, well, as long as they don't take away the beer and the football, I don't care what they do to the water. You control the food and you control the population. That's right out of Joseph Stalin's playbook. Mao, Chairman Mao. That's how they roll. So yeah, they're poisoning the well so that they can sell you the water back to you. And you ever see the movie Total Recall? What's the plot of the movie Total Recall? It's about some greedy fucking corporate dickwads that poison the air that you breathe so that they can turn around and sell you breathable air that they control the supply of. And if you don't want to pay them, then you don't get to breathe. That's where we're heading. I mean, where do you think I got the idea for the thumbnail of today's video? Right there. You got these greedy cocks. Like, look at that corn. Look at that corn. That crop is a great harvest this year. All these fucking peasants are out there in the Monsanto cornfield next to the burned out city with their gas mask that they had to pay somebody for so that they can breathe the air, because all the air, you can't breathe the air anymore because they poisoned the air so that they could sell you clean air. Like they poison the air so that they could make their profit by selling you the air that you need to breathe instead of you just being able to breathe the air. And if you don't believe me, look up in the fucking sky on any given Tuesday or Wednesday and all the crisscrosses that you see in the sky. The fucking plane goes by and there's a big fucking line in the sky behind the plane that just hangs there for 8 fucking hours and just spreads out and never disappears. And the whole sky is crisscrossed with this shit. And as a photographer, if you like to shoot sunsets, you're pretty much shit out of luck these days. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to shoot a sunset in my photography career to just see a bunch of fucking big X's in the sky. And there's going to be no sunset today because they covered it up with their bullshit and they're spraying chemicals in the air. They're poisoning the sky. They're doing this so that we can. Bill Gates wants to block the fucking sun because I'm gonna stop global warming, and then he gets up and he gives a fucking speech. Boy, if we do a really good job with vaccines and we kill billions of people, if like he basically got up and did a TED talk where he said, if we do a really good job with our vaccines, we'll eliminate billions of people and reduce the population down to 10% of what it is right now. That's what they want to fucking do. Yeah, that the whole carbon credits bullshit for global warming. First of all, it was global cooling at one point because the temperature trends were going down. So I've got Leonard Nimoy, I've got clips of these motherfuckers all doom and gloom about how the world is going to turn into a new ice age and blah, blah, blah. Well, then the shit started getting warmer all of a sudden. So they're like, wait, no, it's global warming now. And so for 10 years, it was global warming. Then shit started to cool again. They're like, wait a minute. Why don't we just call it climate change? If we just call it climate change, that was the marketing genius that showed up and said, wait, we'll just call it climate change. That way, when it changes, it's your fucking fault, you fucking peasants. It's all those cow farts from the McDonald's burgers that you eat all day long. You should be eating bugs instead of burgers. And I'm going to get on my private jet and fly and fly on my private jet to a city that's a 2-hour drive away to go to the climate change conference and tell all you fucking peasants to stop polluting the atmosphere with your cars and your fucking cow farts and you fucking peasants. It's all your fault, you fucking pieces of shit. We're going to eat filet mignon on our private jet while we fly to the conference for climate change and talk about how we're going to shut down all you peasants and kill 3/4 of the world's population so we can have more space to ourselves. Like, that's what they want to do. If they can't figure out how to make money off of you, they just want to get rid of you. So, I don't even know why. I mean, there's probably a war going on between these dirty dickwads too, because how many of these rich assholes want to walk around with a gas mask on their face because some other rich cocksucker decided to poison the air so they could sell you clean air? And if you don't want to buy the air from them, you can just lay down and fucking die. That's the whole plot of the movie Total Recall. And they've already recalled Total Recall. They totally recalled Total Recall and did it again. So I don't even know. I think I saw the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know if I saw the other one, but because they can't have an original fucking movie anymore in Hollywood. They just got to remake some old shit that they've already done and put a new logo on it and a new actor for the same fucking movie. How many times are they going to redo Batman? It's like they're on like the 50th. They got more fucking people playing Batman than James Bond at this point. Yeah, states own the rain, Glenn B. Shaw. They've copyrighted the fucking rain. If you put a barrel next to your house at the bottom of your roof to collect the water that falls off of your roof out of the fucking sky, they'll come and fine you for that. You're not allowed to collect the rain. You're not allowed to collect the water that falls out of the fucking sky. I mean, keep telling me that I'm a fucking idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about, and that you got all these rich cocksuckers that want to poison the water supply so that they can turn around and sell you the clean water that you need to live because there is no place to get it other than them. Keep telling me I'm wrong about that when they've made it laws in several states that you're not even allowed to open up your fucking mouth and collect the water that falls out of the sky. Not that I would want to drink that shit, because look at what they're spraying in the sky. True, Glenn. My neighbor tried collecting rainwater in barrels and he was threatened with $1,000 a day fine. $1,000 a day for collecting water that fell out of the fucking sky. Here in Canada, Monsanto sued a farmer for growing their crops illegally. Was it one of the ones that the wind blew the fucking pollen across the street and contaminated his field? And then they turned around and said, we own your farm now, you motherfucker. Pay up. Like, I don't know where the breaking point is, but do we all, I mean, there are, how many gun owners are, let's fucking, we're going to look this right up live. We're live. We can do this. How? I'll get a little, show you, I'll be out in the corner here. How? Let's just go here. How many gun owners are there in the United States? 80 to 107 million people own a firearm in the United States. 40 to 52% of U.S. households contain at least one gun. And I was just talking to somebody on Twitter the other day that has 75 guns in her house. There are enough guns in the United States for every single person in the United States to have 10 easily. 81 to 107 million Americans personally own a gun. Well, one less because I'm not allowed to. Over 65 million households, or about 40 to 50% of U.S. homes, have firearms. 40% of men and 25% of women. 45% of Republicans, 20% Democrats. That, tells you who's going to win the war. Higher in rural areas than suburbs or urban areas. Protection is the primary motivation. 79% of owners citing that. Hunting and sport, the other reason. Ownership increased significantly from 2019 to 2023. You think? I can tell you that for sure. How hard do they really have to push the people of this country before we're like, okay, we're done here? Half of American households have at least one gun. But most of these households have so many guns that if they pass them out to their friends, everybody in America can have 10 to 20 guns apiece. That is the statistic. I could make slides about this stuff. Carry concealed permits in Pennsylvania. They always talk, Texas. We're on the gun topic for a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna go for another 10 minutes. I'm pretty much at the end of my notes in terms of copyright and whatnot. I mean, it went from copywriting a line from a song to copywriting seeds for your food that you need to survive to copywriting water. And then it's going to boil down. You can't even put out a fucking barrel and collect water out of the sky anymore without $1,000 a day fine. And what's next? Air. If you turn on a fan in your house, you got to pay a royalty for the air that you're moving around or what, like we're there. We're just about there. And at what point are people going to be like, you know what? We're done. We're fucking done. I know the FBI is going to show up with a tank tonight in my house because I just said that, but how much longer can America just sit back and watch this fucking shit show before we collectively say, you know what? We're fucking done. Your vote don't count for shit. We know that the elections are rigged. You can't vote your way out of communism. You can't vote your way out of totalitarianism. History books, that's what they teach. We celebrate the 4th of July every year. Why? Why do we celebrate the 4th of July every year? Is it barbecue day? Or is it we kicked the people out of this country who were enslaving us by what? We shot them. We celebrate the 4th of July, which is a celebration of shooting the people that we wanted to get rid of in this country and sending them back to where they fucking belonged. That's what it is. I'm not fucking making this up. Go read a fucking history book. Read about this thing. It's called the Revolutionary War. Lexington and Concord. Kick that off. But I'm looking. The tank's probably on their fucking way right now. I'll be all over Fox News tomorrow morning and sitting in federal prison for another. Well, they'll give me the full sentence of 10 years now, just for saying that. And they're going to be like, oh yeah, and he quoted a line from the Rush song, "I will choose free will." I'll get another 5 years for that. And then I showed the Obama poster. That was copyrighted. And then I showed all the photos of the buildings that I took. They had the logos on them. So I stole all of those logos from those wholesome corporations. Yeah, Nestle is emptying out the purest aquifers in British Columbia around Hope, BC for next to nothing and selling it for $3 a bottle. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to drain all the water out of the Great Lakes, which those Great Lakes are so fucking polluted. I wouldn't want to drink the water out of them, but have at it, I guess. But no, man, it's going to be like, okay, it's illegal to collect rainwater. How long before it's illegal to own a well and take water out of the ground? If you have a well on your property, a lot of so I had 3 fireplaces in my house when I lived in my beautiful home in Pennsylvania that was next to the 30-foot waterfall. I had 3 fireplaces. I had a friend who lived in closer to the center of town who had a couple of fireplaces in her house and she wasn't allowed to burn wood in them. She said if she actually used her fireplace and they had smoke coming out the chimney, that she could go to jail for that. They don't want you to be able to heat your home anymore. They don't want you to be able to burn wood. They don't want you to be able to heat your home without electricity or gas or something that they can control the heat in your home with. If you have a fireplace or a wood burning stove, they don't want you to have that anymore. And not only are they making it illegal for new homes to have those things, but they're trying to restrict homes that already have them and make it so that you can't even use the shit that you have. And they'll come up with some, they got 20 different fucking bullshit reasons from Tuesday to Sunday to come up with an excuse as to why. But I know people who have fireplaces and they're not allowed to use them. In my house, I did, and I could, and nobody was telling me what to do. I actually only used one of the 3 fireplaces. The other 2 always stayed empty. But yeah, they're going to make it illegal to own a well. So you can't take water out of the ground. You got to pay for it from the crooked ass fucking scumbag corporation in town that brings the water to your house. You can't just take it out of the ground where it's there for free. Can't burn. You can't heat your house with wood from a dead tree. There's like, at what point? At what point does America just say, you know what? We're done. We're done. I don't know. I think how many people got to go to a concentration camp in America before America says, you know what? I think we're going to put a stop to this now. I mean, at that point, the military is going to turn into a bunch of different factions because, I mean, the technology and the way the military can just completely shut down this country if they wanted to tomorrow. Even if every single person in America had 20 guns apiece, you wouldn't be able to fight back against that shit unless the military themselves break up and start fighting each other. And I mean, this is all, we're headed down this path. You saw in 2020 that the elections are rigged. Your vote doesn't count. And it's just whoever they decide. The votes for the election on Tuesday were counted last Wednesday. By the time you show up to vote, the votes have been counted. They're just going to reveal the winner after 8:00. You know look how fast they tell you the winner now. FEMA camps. Yeah. I mean, how many people are going to go live in an American concentration camp before America finally says, over my dead body? I don't know. Like, what's it going to take? And they keep poking. In 2020, all the stuff that happened in 2020 and beyond was a litmus test. 2020 was literally an experiment to see how much retarded shit can we make these people do and how many of these fucking idiots will go along with it. How many of these people are going to put on a mask and how many people know it's bullshit? If we put arrows on the floor at the grocery store and tell people that they have to go this way down this aisle and this way down the next aisle and this way, we're going to watch on the camera, how many of these dumb fucking lemmings are going to obey the arrows that we glue to the floor at the grocery store? If we put little fucking dots on the floor next to everything saying y'all have to stand 6 feet apart, how many people are going to go along with that? The whole thing was an experiment. It was a social experiment to see how many fucking people would go along with whatever these people say. And they found out. If you live in a blue county, if you live in a city, I'm telling you, I live in Houston, I live in fucking Texas, and I guarantee you, every fucking day, this is part of the reason why I don't like to go out in public anymore. Every fucking time I go out in public here in this fucking place, there are people walking around with these fucking masks on their face, COVID masks. It's 2026, and these fucking morons are walking around with this fucking mask on their face. Fucking retards. I'm saying it. Donald Trump gave me permission. Elon Musk gave me permission. Joe Rogan gave me permission. These people are fucking retards. I'm saying it. I don't give a fuck. I have permission from above. I'm allowed to call people retards now. It's cool again. This whole fucking thing is a joke. I'm wearing mask when I was told to wear a fucking. I never put on a COVID mask. I wouldn't even put on the fucking COVID mask when I was in jail. I suffered some consequences for that. I won't take the shot. I gave up my job. It's bullshit when you have a remote job where you work from home and you've been working from home since 2019. And they tell you in 2022 that or 2021, right 2 weeks before Christmas, if you don't take the shot, we're firing you. I was like, I told 150 people in a Zoom meeting to go choke on a dick. Straight up. I thought I was alone. It was a Jim Jones Kool-Aid cult, except it was Dr. Fauci's vaccine cult at that place. And I thought I was completely alone until I did that. When I told 150 people at the all company Zoom meeting to go fuck themselves, all of a sudden I started getting messages on Slack on the backside from all these people who were like, Adam, I can't believe you did that. Thank you. Thanking me. I had tons of people reaching out to thank me because they all thought they were alone in this fucking retarded ass Kool-Aid cult. People showing up to Zoom meetings where they're home alone. We're all working from home. I was working from home since day one. That was my gig. That was in my contract, if you will. That was agreed upon well before this shit started. So I had a remote job in the first place. And so you got these fucking dumbass lemmings coming into the Zoom meetings while they're working home alone. And they're showing up to Zoom meetings with a COVID mask on their face. And I'm like, what do you think? You're going to get a fucking virus through the Zoom app? Like you're going to download a virus? You're going to download a virus from the internet and get COVID, and that's why you got to wear a fucking mask to the meeting? No, because they wanted to show everybody, I'm a good little boy. I do what I'm told. Fucking morons, man. I liked all of the people that I worked with at that company, and 6 months later, I fucking hated them, and I hate them to this day. And that's, that goes back to what I was talking about at the beginning of today's show about how I got to let go of some of that. But there are some people I just talking about. I go out. Look, did you see the look on my face when I talked about how every time I go out, I was out in the fucking park outside yesterday. I saw the fucking retard walking around in a COVID mask in a park in 2026 out in the fucking woods. Someone's walking around the fucking woods in a park all by themselves out in nature wearing a fucking mask on their face. You see how angry I am right now? I fucking hate these people. And this is what God's like trying to tell me. I got to like channel that hate away. I don't know how. I don't know how to do it because like you see me. I go from being calm to like ready to fucking throw down in like this blink of an eye over dumb shit like this. It just what makes me mad is not that this person's a fucking retard walking around with a mask on their face, but it's because we're surrounded by these fucking retards that our lives are being, the people that can actually think for themselves and they can call a turd when they see one, we're affected by these fucking idiots because there's so many of these fucking idiots going along with, I'm gonna wear my mask for the rest of my fucking life. The next time they try and pull some bullshit like that on us again, it's going to be those people that cause us all the fucking problems. And that's why I hate them today, because I know what they're going to be when our future becomes what our future is going to be. Those are the people that are going to be the problem in society that we need to deal with. So that's why when I see them out now, I was at the fucking gym yesterday. There's people at the fucking gym walking around with a fucking COVID mask on their fucking face while they work out. Like, how fucking retarded are you? Go home. Go work out at home, you fucking moron. Do you wear your COVID mask to bed? Do you go to sleep with your fucking COVID mask on your face? You probably got a retarded ass tan line. You look like one of those fucking sock monkeys. The sock monkey with the fucking thing around its mouth because you've been wearing this COVID mask for 6 fucking years. that part of your face has never seen the sun anymore, has it? And so I'm fed up with these fucking people. And believe me, I can't stand the MAGA hat people. I'm just as sick of them as I am with the COVID mask people. And but once again, if I got to rewind back to the beginning of what did I say? I'm going to go back to my notes here. Blah 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 blah. where we earlier today, I was talking about how I got anger issues that I still need to worry to get through because, like, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? Because I can't look at one of these fucking people driving around in a car by themselves with a COVID mask on their face without wanting to fucking hit them. I don't hit them. I don't threaten them. I don't say anything to them. I just keep it to myself. But I'm angry when I see them. I fucking hate these people. I mean, oh my God, I see them in public all the time. And I just want to walk right up to them and be like, why are you such a fucking idiot? Can you explain why you're so fucking stupid so that I can understand you? Like, why do you think you still have to wear this stupid thing on your face? Didn't you get 20 fucking booster shots from Dr. Fauci? Like, you should be protected by now, right? If the vaccine did its job and, everybody's got to do it according to you. Like, what the fuck are you, like, oh my God, these people. I almost feel bad for them too, because it's like, you must be living in one hell of a fucking fear-based reality if you're walking around with a COVID mask on your face right now in 2026. You're probably living in constant fear. Like, you probably I couldn't even imagine the level of fear that these people are walking around in. If they're so afraid of the world that they got to put that mask on their face every time they leave their house because 5 years ago, Dr. Fauci told them to do it. Take 20 fucking booster shots for your COVID vaccine and still wear your fucking COVID mask on your face everywhere you go. Even though you can look around and you can see that as society, we've moved on. We've moved on. How many people do you know that didn't take the shot? I didn't take the shot. Joe Biden said I was supposed to be dead by now. I'm still living my best life, the best I can do, in spite of, what happened. I don't know, man. I don't know. But every time I see one of these fucking retards with the COVID mask on, I'm just like, everybody's like, oh, you're moving to Texas. That's going to be... I'm in Texas. It's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Just because I live in Texas doesn't mean I'm not surrounded by fucking morons. It's crazy. I don't know. I'm over the 3 hour mark now. So I'm just ranting and raving and just, making up stuff because I don't got no more notes. And, but I said something about this earlier, that fear leads to anger. I don't know what, I'm so angry at these people with the masks on. So if fear leads to anger, what am I afraid of when I see these retards walking around with a mask on their face? And I think the fear that leads to the anger is what I just said about when you've got so many of these morons mixed in with our society. When the government goes to pull another scam on us, it's those idiots that are going to be the problem. They're the ones that are going to make it so that we have to fight back a lot harder. Like, it was not easy for me to give up a job to say no to a Dr. Fauci experiment. Like, I knew it was coming on March 13th, 2020, when they sent us all home, told us not to come back to the office. I'll tell you this, and then this is my last story for the day. This fucking retard. If you're watching this video somehow, someday, you know exactly who the fuck you are, and I think you're a fucking idiot. That's what I think about you. So just so you know, I'm talking about you. None of you who are actually watching right now, but there's a guy. I worked at this company, and he had just gotten done. So it was like October the previous year. He went and got a flu shot. And then he was sick for like 3 or 4 months, like hospitalized sick. Constantly having to go to the doctor, constantly run down, constantly sick. And he was telling me one day that the doctors think that he had some complication from the flu shot. And he was in really bad shape for months. Now we fast forward not that much longer to March 13th, 2020. And they're sending us home. I was in the office that day for other reasons. I didn't have to be. It was a remote job, but I was down there for 20. I had 20 different reasons to be there. But I was there that day. And they were telling us, this is your last day. We're all going home early. Don't come back to the office until further notice, blah, 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 because they're shutting down the country. All that was that day. And they're all talking about it. And then this guy, the guy who just spent 4 months being hospitalized in constant doctor's appointments because he took the flu shot and got all fucked up from it, he starts making fun of the anti-vaxxers. Now, remember, this is March 13th, 2020. The vaccine's nowhere in sight. He starts saying shit like, yeah, and when they come out for a vaccine for this, all those anti-vaxxers aren't going to go along with it, and they're going to ruin it for the rest of us. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Aren't you the fucking guy that just got done telling all of us that you've been sick for the last 4 months to the point where you had to go be checked into the fucking hospital because you took a flu shot and it fucked you up that bad? And now you're making fun of the anti-vaxxers for a vaccine that hasn't even been invented yet, and a vaccine that's going to get rushed through the process without being properly tested. And I said that. I said, so you're making fun of people for not wanting to take a vaccine that wasn't even properly tested, that was just pushed on people. And I looked at him and I looked at everybody else and I said, you know what? I'll let you all take that vaccine and I'll sit back and watch what happens to you before I make my decision. How's that sound? And they're all like, you're a fucking asshole. And I was kind of mad. And I looked at them and I said, you know what's going to happen? You're all going to be telling me that I have to take this vaccine and I'm going to get fired from this job for not taking the vaccine. And they're like, oh, there goes your tinfoil hat, Adam. Ah, ha, ha. Like, oh, you're always talking your shit and you don't know what you're talking about. Blah, 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 blah. December 15th or December 9th, 2021, I was fired from that fucking job for not taking the vaccine, exactly the way that those people made fun of me for saying it on March 13th, 2020. A year and some months later, it happened exactly like I said. I said, you're going to try and force me to take this fucking vaccine. I'm going to say no, and you're going to fire me for it. And that's how I'm going to lose my job at this company. And they said, that's bullshit, Adam. That would never happen. And then a year and a half later, that's exactly what happened. After I had to put up with those fucking scumbags and all of their virtue signaling and bullshit. And to this day, if I ever saw one of those fucking people in person, I would have some words. I would have some words. Because if one of them decided to come up to me in public and say, hey, Adam, what's up? I'll be like, fuck you. That's what's up, you fucking scumbag. Get the fuck out of my face. And that's where I'm at. And that's a problem because, God doesn't want me to be that way. But I've got some issues. I've got to let go of some shit that people have done. And I don't know if I can let some of this shit go because they really fucked up our lives. Like, that was the one thing that actually did fuck up my life, friends' lives, that they did a number on our society with that bullshit experiment of theirs. And I can't let it go. Like, I won't be friends with these people ever again. I'll never willingly talk to any of them again. Anybody I had beef with over that shit during 2020 and beyond, we're done. We're never going to be friends again. We're never going to talk. I'm never going to like you. I'm never going to respect you, or, I don't have to hate you per se, but don't ever fucking reach out to me and think that you can say, hey, like, we're buddies again, because we're not. I think you're a piece of shit. And I always will. So, but how do I get past this thing I'm in? Because I think, this is part of what God's trying to get. He's trying to, like, I don't know. But, like, you see what happens when I go down this road of thought, like these topics. That's why I'm trying, like, I want to build a following on X, but I'm having a problem because when I go to X, I'm just like, oh, you fucking idiots. And I just get mad because of the politics. The dumbass red hat MAGA retards and the COVID cult people and all of it. So I don't know. I try to combat it by, I try to combat the anger with humor and just tell jokes and try to be funny. But it's like, yeah, Glenn, the only person capable of reversing government instability is I can't say that. I can't, I can't say those things, but hopefully they don't show up with it. Hopefully you get to keep your channel membership intact and they didn't drive a tank into your house this weekend, but you got to take it pretty far. Like somebody ratted me out to them. Like this watchdog group that goes after right-wing extremists and hate, like the Southern Poverty Law Center, that kind of shit. They basically started following me after, like, so basically when I started working for Gab, I started getting all kinds of weird shit in my life. People showing up. The CIA sent a fucking one of those Black Sparrow girls or whatever in to be my quote unquote girlfriend for a period of time. That was but it was when, how they send a woman like Fang Fang or whatever, like the Chinese sent that girl, was her name Fang Fang Ling Ling, whatever the fuck, to go spy on a congressman. So she goes sucky sucky. He tells her all our secrets. And they did that to me. The CIA they're like, well, we don't like, we'll send a fat sparrow. We'll send her because, they didn't go top shelf. This was like, I don't know. I wasn't in like a dry spell per se, but I don't know. They got me for a period of time. I figured out something wasn't right. I told my friends about it. My friends were like, holy shit, Adam. I handed over a file to one friend, a zip file with a password, and said everything about this girl that I know is in here. If I disappear, so-and-so's got the password for that zip file. You two get together, unzip the file, figure out what the fuck went wrong. This is who done it. I mean, it was like that. And I told all these people about the story about this girl, and they're like, holy shit, Adam. I mean, that is tinfoil hat. And I even said, I'm like, I don't believe this myself, to tell you the truth. I believe that this is my tinfoil hat speaking. That this is that, but I'm like, let's hear me out. And I listed it all out, and my friends were like, holy fuck, dude, that's like straight out of a fucking movie. They're like, you actually might be right about this. And I'm like, I know, but I don't believe I am. But I'm like, I felt like I should tell you guys. I felt like I should put this zip file together and send it to you and send the password to that zip file to them, and them. So that if something happens to me, y'all know how to get in touch and unlock the zip file and see what's in it. Otherwise, it don't need to be looked at. But you know the story. Everybody who heard me tell this story, it was like, shit. And this happened. I started working for Gab, and this was like 2-3 months after I started working for Gab. And it happened in coincidence with, I had a GitHub account that was associated with Gab, and people doxed me through the GitHub account, and they figured out who I was because I was making commits to the Gab repository with code. And they basically doxed me through my fucking, through my, what do you call it? My GitHub account. And I really didn't give a fuck about it at the time. But then all of a sudden, all this weird shit started to happen after I got doxxed for working for Gab. Death threats, the fucking CIA fat sparrow girlfriend, all this other shit happened. Like weird shit. And well, then it was, and then the FBI shows up and drives a tank into my fucking house, and I just can't disconnect one from the other. But the people that ratted me out to the FBI and took screenshots of my profile and my posts and stuff to alert the FBI had already been fucking with me for years because I was associated and was working on Gab. And they had, like I said, they had doxed me through GitHub because I was making commits to their repository. Then Gab switched to another repository, a private repo. And then we were much tighter on security around that because we didn't want people getting doxed again. Because I was getting death threats and shit. Like, it's okay to threaten me with death, but Adam can't post anything on. Adam can't post a comment based on a news article. But when during the grand jury indictment, they got rid of the news article that I was commenting on and just showed the comment that I made. And then they twisted it into Adam stockpiling weapons, and he's got 13 guns, and he's going to go down to the FBI headquarters and go on a shooting spree. My lawyer had to go get all the fucking receipts for the guns and find out, no, Adam bought guns over a 20-year period, about one gun every couple of years. All of this shit. I mean, fuck, man, we're 20 minutes past 3 hours, and I could talk about this for hours. Maybe that's a topic for another show. But if I get an invite to collab with this guy who I'm talking to, who has over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, maybe if I go on his channel, some of you can subscribe to him. You might be into what he's got to say. But it'll give me another feather in my cap in terms of I'm trying to collect interviews and collaborations with other people and, put them in a special place on my channel. I have a video. Some of you have seen it because it's on my friend's channel. I did an interview up in Jamestown while I was still homeless before I came to Houston. And it's about an hour and a half long. And I talk about everything that happened. And it was a pretty good interview. And I'm actually going to post that to my YouTube channel soon. I wanted to do it this week, but time, those kinds of things just got in the way of it. But it's something I want to do. It's something I'm planning on doing. My friend who wrote the book was the one that interviewed me, and I think it's an appropriate time to share that with you all because I'm going to be starting to really take his website to another level. The book's going to get published, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I want to thank you all for showing up. And one last announcement that I really didn't get into. I'm changing the live stream to Wednesday nights starting next week. I said this in the YouTube video that's about to launch tomorrow for non-channel members. But I'm going to say it now. I wish I'd said it earlier when there were more people here. But Wednesdays will be the live stream from now on. And I'll try to post thumbnails and announcements for that tomorrow so that people can get queued up for it. The gym that I just joined has Thursday night is like the perfect night for me to go because they have spinning class at 5:30 and then they have yoga class at 7. So I can go do both. I can go work out for a bit, do an hour-long spinning class, and then I'll have a little bit of time between spinning class and yoga to do something. And then I can go to yoga, look at all the girls in their yoga pants and get my yoga workout on while I have my downward belly while, hanging out of my downward dog. And, but I can just fix my crooked back and get all stretched out and feeling good. And then the gym that I joined has a sauna and a hot tub. So after yoga class, after I'm all stretched out and all nice and feeling good, I can go chill in the hot tub for half an hour, go sit in the sauna for 15 minutes or whatever I can stand, go take a shower and go home. And so I think Thursday is going to be like 100% gym night. The rest of there's 3 locations of the gym within easy drive of me, but that's the only day that I can go to take both classes on the same day. Tuesdays, I might go to the gym, but I have to choose. Do you want to do yoga tonight or do you want to do bicycling? The bicycle that goes nowhere. That will probably just depend on how I feel. Probably the bicycle for a while because I'm probably going to make friends. If I go to a bunch of spinning classes and be a regular at that, I want to meet people and make friends while I'm there. So, let's see. So yeah, that's why I'm gonna move the stream to Wednesday instead of Thursday. And Friday, I can't do it on Friday because I got to go work at the bakery on Saturdays, and I just can't do this and then have to go there the next day. So that's why I'm doing that. Um, what else? I don't think there's any other announcements, but honestly, part of the reason some of you put money in the digital chicken bucket so that I could go out and buy frisbee golf discs or other things or shoes or whatever. Like people were like, because I've been talking about going out and getting my fitness on, and so I took, some you can all like some of that money in one way, shape, or form. I bought things to make going to the gym a good experience for me. I bought a pair of headphones, nice set. I bought a yoga mat that I like. I have a yoga mat, but I don't like it. Bought a bag for my yoga mat, a towel for hot yoga to put over my yoga mat. Bought a gym bag. I had a lot of stuff that I didn't buy anything I didn't already own, but I got myself equipped, like straight up. The only thing I forgot to bring to the gym the other night when I went was a pair of Crocs. I had to barefoot around the locker room and out to the hot tub and around the pool and the sauna and stuff. And I'm like, it kind of made me think back to prison days when you don't go raw dogging the prison shower with bare feet. You gotta put Crocs on or something on your feet. So I was raw dogging the floors of the gym because I didn't want to put on sneakers just to walk over to the hot tub and have to take them on and off and blah. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm sure I've walked around in worse crap than this barefoot in my life, so I'll be all right. But next time I'll be taking a pair of Crocs. Otherwise, I had everything I needed. And so I'm taking this seriously. I'm investing in myself, my fitness, and my health. And yeah, I mean, yeah, what you're all saying about the masks being a sign of mental illness. It's that fear. It's like I can't even imagine why I don't live my life in fear like that. I have moments of fear where I get worried about stuff. I just showed you the Bible verse that's most important to me is about anxiety and fear. So I'm not innocent of fear. But like what kind of fear, what kind of level of fear do you like I'm trying to put myself in their shoes. Like what must life like be like if you're so afraid of the world that you got to put on this mask when you leave your house? Like your whole life must like I can't even imagine what that life is like. Like I can't even step into that frame of thought because it's so foreign to me that you would be that afraid of the world that you're still putting on your Dr. Fauci costume. You know what I'm saying? Like just to go out in public, you still got to put on a mask. I was in fucking Target one day. There was a family with three little kids, a baby and a toddler, and someone who was like maybe 4 years old. The husband, the wife, and all three of the kids wearing masks. You're making your little fucking baby wear a mask. That's like child abuse, dude. That's like child abuse. Have these kids? Do they wear their masks at home? Do these kids even know what their brothers and sisters look like? Like what the fuck, man? And I can't imagine 2026. It's not even like even the people on TV aren't wearing them fucking masks anymore. But everywhere I go, without exception, I'm constantly seeing people in these fucking masks. That stood right out to me when I came to Houston. I was looking at my friend. I'm like, yo, you told me it was cool down here. What the fuck's going on? But he came from Boston. So our perspective is a little warped. I didn't see this many people wearing masks in Jamestown, New York, as I see down here in Houston, Texas. That's why it floors me. That's why it bothers me so much because even in liberal New York State, in Jamestown, which is a liberal town, you don't see that. You don't see as many people. You see it every now and then. You're always going to see a couple of them. But I remember one time they tried making everybody at the homeless shelter wear a mask, and I was like, nope, I'm going up to the room. See ya. I didn't wear the mask. I refuse to wear that fucking mask on my face. You would have to knock me out and make me unconscious to put one of those things on my fucking face. I won't do it. I won't do it. Ask anybody who had to be around me during that time. I would not fucking wear it for any reason, for anyone at any time ever. I would not fucking do it. And I dealt with a lot of shit for that. And I'm not the only, but you need people like me to stand up for you. Like if you're all going to be, not you people watching the video right now, but there's a lot of fucking pussies out there. I can tell you this. I would go to the grocery store without my mask, just walking around, not giving a fuck. And I would see people in the grocery store take their masks off because they'd see me and they'd be like, okay, now I can take my mask off because nobody wants to be the only one walking around the store without a mask. I didn't give a fuck. If they kick me out of the store, I'll go to another store. I'll find a fucking store that I can walk around with my face hanging out. I never had a problem I could not solve because of the mask bullshit. In fact, every time I got kicked out of a place for refusing a mask, I got a reward from Jesus for it every single time. And I can talk about that all day. But there were plenty of times other people were with me and watched it. I would go into a store. There might be a crowd of people with masks on. They would see me without my mask. They'd take their fucking mask off because all of a sudden there's solidarity. Somebody needs to have the balls to be the first one to disobey, and then other people feel more comfortable when they know they're not alone. So you need people like me in this world to give you the fucking balls, not you personally watching the video right now, but I'm just saying in general. Somebody needs to have the balls to say no first, and then other people get more comfortable with it. And before you know it, you've started a movement. And with that, we're at 3.5 hours. I think I'm good. So, everybody, thanks for stopping by. It's been fun. You know, I can talk all day. Always got something to say, especially when you guys give me a comment or two to go on. I'll see y'all, the members, on Sunday, same time. Las Vegas rules apply. Whatever happens in the members only live stream stays in the members only live stream. And with that, I'm just going to say peace out. I hope you have a good night, and we'll hang out again next week on Wednesday.